expect the chance of anti-MSLs. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of those today and expect the chance of anti-MSLs. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of those today and expect the chance of anti-MSLs. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of those today and expect the chance of anti-MSLs. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Call of Duty Mobile Garena Masters Season 3. Today is day 10 of the group stage, the final day of battle for some of these teams to make it through to the playoffs, which is going to be happening at the Resorts World Manila in a little bit. This weekend, we will have a lot of talents flying into the Philippines, and the following weekend, we will see exactly who gets crowned the champions. Whether or not it is going to be the reigning, defending champion Smarter Mega, or once again, will we see the throne move to a different brand's hands. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustachio, down here with two of the best casters in Garena Call of Duty Mobile right now, Beef Mommy as well as Cali Gaming. And I am definitely looking forward to today, guys.
Ooh.
Cali, what are your thoughts, buddy? Who do you think is going to have the biggest problem? Because it's not a guarantee just yet in these groups as to who's moving on to the playoffs. Even the Huntsmen, who are currently sitting down in the second spot, might just lose their place. And they're not even playing today, Cali.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, they have played their final match, yes, before even this game. This day started. Oh, my God, shambles. But, hey, this final day still has some drama in it, AJ. And there's still some fight in for Sector 0. They win 2 maps. They advance to that they qualify for that playoffs.
Oh, yeah, and that's just insane to think about, right? Sector 0, a lot for them to play for, but they are taking on the absolute perfect West Point Mamba Lowkings, who have not dropped a single map so far during the group stage. Beef, I want to know your thoughts. What's the probability of West Point Mamba Lowkings dropping a map here? Because you see, if they happen to do so, then they help out their brothers from the Philippines, right? And Huntsman, unfortunately, will be sitting down crying in Malaysia because they don't get to fly to the Philippines. This might just be one of the biggest heartbreaking moments in Garena Call of Duty Mobile.
Absolutely. I mean, you asked me, what is the probability? Well, the only thing that can save them is divine intervention and probably mess up the Lowkings internet connection because they have not dropped the map. And I'm pretty sure they're going to give him a very hard time here, AJ. So Sector 0, like what you said, is the most at risk here out of everyone playing in the group stage, just because they need to play a perfect game in order to dethrone Huntsman in that second spot.
And it's not just them. Teams like VVV ESPORTS might be in a little bit of hot soup as well. If at all, there's a little bit of promise from some of these teams out there. We will show you the schedule of the day as to how this drama will break down. But currently, VVV ESPORTS, they sit down on their group with 8 points. BLACKLIST International Ultimate, they have got a guarantee fly through to the playoffs already. They have already booked their tickets there. But if today CKG Legacy can prove themselves against BLACKLIST International Ultimate and pick off maybe 2 maps, which is very, very difficult to imagine, but if they are able to do so and C8 United beats VVV ESPORTS, that's going to be a GGWP for VVV, and we might see CKG move through, but that's the kind of drama we have here on the final day of the group stage. This is the tournament format at the very start from Malaysia, Philippines, as well as Singapore. We had 256 teams in total fighting off in different qualifiers, and 12 of the best teams have managed to make it through to the group stage. And out of the 16, you actually have 4 invited teams. And through all of those battles that we've witnessed through the group stage so far, they've collected their points through a double round robin setup, and the top 8 teams make it through to the playoffs. Some of those teams have already booked their ticket there already. We apologize for not throwing their logos into the graphics just yet, but we have that spot guaranteed for some of them, right? And once again, the drama will continue to unfold today to show us exactly who else will join them and who will the final 8 teams be. By the end of today, you guys will be able to find out. And what's all this fuss about? What's all the effort for? It's for 25,000 US dollars. 10,000 USD goes to those people who pick up the number 1 spot. Once again, this could be Smarter Mega, or it could just be the Kings of Kings being dethroned once again, just like what BLACKLIST International Ultimate did to them. We are very sure BLACKLIST is looking for a little bit of revenge, but if at all that does not happen, second place is still quite a bit of taking away, 4,500 USD. Third spot gets 3,000 USD. Fourth place gets 1,500. Fifth to 8th place gets 750 USD. Now, from there on, 9th to 12th place, as well as 13th to 16th, gets 500 and 250 each. That's not a lot to cry about. Quite a bit of money. Each and every single team within the group stage itself gets to take something back home here, Cali, which is quite nice, don't you think?
Yeah, it's still quite nice because you're here. You qualified as one of the 16 teams in this competition. So the 9 and 12 place, they get 500 USD. 13 to 16 place gets 250 US dollars. And as much as possible, teams here would love to play and of course qualify for that playoffs, because not only are they going to have more money, but they're also going to have the chance to play LAN, Resorts World Manila. That's where we're going to be, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And it's not just for the money now. It's actually to get to that LAN event in itself. The kind of energy, the kind of electricity that will be running through the veins of each and every single pro player, each and every single fan down on the ground. It's unimaginable. We cannot wait to see each and every single one of you there. Group A, let's talk a little bit about them. Almighty, Sem9, as well as C8 Legacy. Unfortunately for Sem9, they have lost out to C8 Legacy by a mere 1 point. And Almighty, on the other hand, they've qualified through for the playoffs with flying colors. There was 4 teams initially in Group A. A little bit of an unfortunate circumstance, had to take Ultimate Omni out of their competition. And with 2 teams making it through, unfortunately, the Malaysian team will not be able to see us at the playoffs. But they don't really have to be all that too upset, because we still might have a little bit of representation for Malaysia in the name of Huntsman. But that is, of course, if Sector Zero has anything to say about that. Group B has got Smarter Mega, RTL Esports, NV Doctors, as well as PDR Esports. Both Smarter Mega as well as RTL Esports surprisingly have ended the competition with a total of 10. So RTL ended with 10 points and Smart Omega with 16. Smart Omega dropping a majority, overall 2 maps over the course of the group stage. Absolute impeccable quality, but surprisingly not as spotless as West Point Mamba Lowkings, who have managed to not drop a single map at all throughout their whole plays during the group stage, right? Smart Omega as well as RTL, they make it through. Unfortunately for NV Doctors and PDR, the journey has ended already within Garena Masters Season 3. Huntsman, West Point Mamba Lowkings, Sector Zero, as well as Acto Finesse. These teams make up Group C. And once again, West Point Mamba Lowkings, they are the only team that have already booked a ticket to the playoffs. Huntsman currently sit down at this group with 9 points overall. Sector Zero is right behind them with 8 points. And what makes this a problem is the fact that Sector Zero has got 3 more maps to play, whereas Huntsman have got none. So if Sector Zero does manage to win a single map today, that brings us into a tiebreaker. We won't be able to tell you exactly who wins the tiebreaker just yet. That still needs to be calculated. But if Sector Zero wins by 2 maps, that's a GGWP. The Huntsman will most definitely cry today. That's guaranteed, because their hopes and dreams get crushed. They do not fly out to the Philippines. Group D has got the Kings of Old now. Surprising to actually call Blacklist International Ultimate the Kings of All. Never thought that they would come, and I never thought that it would be Smart Omega to give them that title once again, because it was Blacklist International Ultimate that initially ripped away the throne from Smart Omega. Currently in the competition, 12 wins overall and 3 losses. They have guaranteed a spot for themselves at the playoffs. VVV Esports, they sit down in that 2nd spot, and CKG Legacy sits down in 3rd. Unfortunately for C8 United, they will not be able to make it through the playoffs anymore, but they can most definitely shine on this final day of the group stage, because if they do play the best series of Call of Duty Mobile in their lives, they might just be able to upset VVV Esports and hold them back and allow CKG Legacy to make it through to the playoffs. But CKG has to beat one of the best teams in Garena Call of Duty Mobile. That is Blacklist International Ultimate. The drama is crazy. It is going to be absolutely impossible to not get excited over the 3 series that we have in here today, Beef. Yes, it's just 3 series. Yes, that's very few in comparison to some of the days like our Super Sunday, but all 3 exciting matches, man.
Absolutely. I mean, it all boils down to 3 teams that we're looking at today. That is Sector Zero, VVV Esports, and CK Legacy, to really just grab a hold of that 2nd seat in order to play into the LAN event, right? But I think the biggest takeaway here is for CK Legacy, if they can beat Blacklist International Ultimate, especially during their 2-point loss up against VVV Esports, it's very doable for them to do the same. VVV is the only team that was able to beat Blacklist International Ultimate, though. But with that being said, CKG Legacy has enough time for them to go and study and maybe even scrap a lot more points up against Blacklist International Ultimate if they do a really good job here, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right. And, the odds are stacked against them, most definitely. VVV Esports, technically has a little bit of an advantage here because of the team that they take on. And CKG Legacy obviously will be tested to no end to see if or not they do have the type of quality to pick those wins off. But if VVV Esports manages to get even a single map away from C8 United, then the task of CKG Legacy making it through to the playoffs or that challenge just gets so much more difficult, right? CKG has to be perfect no matter what today. Once again, let's take a look at the schedule to see exactly how the drama will unfold, because in the very first match, Sector 0, they take on the perfect West Point Mamba Lowkings in Series 1. Series 2 has got CKG Legacy taking on Blacklist International Ultimate. And then, of course, for the final cracker of the day, it's going to be VVV Esports taking on C8 United. In your opinion, Callie, which one of these three series are you looking forward to the most, buddy?
Oh, for me, it's going to be Sector 0 versus WPM Lowkings, because this is the most probable game where we could see one team eventually come up with the upset. Especially, I'm looking forward to Sector 0's performance, because this team, I saw their social medias, they really crave to play for that playoffs. And right here, right now, today, they will do whatever it takes for them to win a map here against WPM Lowkings. But aside from that, looking forward to how will VVV Esports do against C8 United here, AJ, because this team, they managed to defeat Blacklist Ultimate on their last match, 2-1. Yeah. They blooded Blacklist Ultimate on that Hacienda Hardpoint, and of course on that Search and Destroy. Curious to see if that momentum will shift here once again and defeat C8 United to finally clinch their number 2 ranking in this competition, AJ.
And on top of that, C8 United, they haven't really performed all that too well within the group of death of the Garena Masters Season 3 group stage so far. Going up against Blacklist International Ultimate, VVV Esports, as well as CKG Legacy truly has pushed them to the edge. But C8 United still has an opportunity to upset VVV Esports. If they can shine against VVV, yes, they do not make it through to the playoffs, that's for sure. But at the very least, they'll give us one series to most definitely remember. Beef, before we switch on to the next graphic, which one of these series are you looking forward to most?
Oh, definitely the last one, because that decides the fate of both the CKG clan and also VVV. I mean, it really is the down to the last point. Every single point and kill matters at the very end of this day.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's take a look at Sector 0 here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is with a lineup of mids, iPow, Pepsi, Shifra, as well as Virus. Now, a lot of promise in the team of Sector 0. We've seen them shine. We've seen also low days from them. But overall, it is the one and only iPow that I've got my eyes out for today, right? This guy has had a little bit of on and off days so far within the group stage overall. And if there's one thing for sure, he's waiting to prove himself. This team was thrown in together to see if or not they can take on the very best. But the one unexpected circumstance here that kind of led to them being tested was being thrown into a group like this, right? West Point Mamba Lowkings, as perfect as they are, have been absolutely tough to beat. And the players of Sector 0, they have been tested time and time again. Acno Finesse might have been an easy team to face off against, but against Huntsman as well as West Point Mamba Lowkings, they haven't really been able to prove themselves all that too much. Now, as we see the lineup of West Point Mamba Lowkings, each and every single name here will most definitely put a smile on your face. Captain Yopi, with their team members of PJ, Alea, Luffy, Kalo, as well as Demos. And Alea, I have to say, once again, said this many times before, will continue to say it again and again and again. One of the best coaches in Garena Call of Duty Mobile, no doubt whatsoever, because of how much of quality he has managed to bring to the side of West Point Mamba Lowkings. You know, when you're in that match, Callie, the game runs so much faster. For us, when we cast, it's so much slower, right? We get to break down every single detail. But if you are a player as well, and obviously you and Beef, you guys play the game, when you hop into a game of Hardpoint, when you hop into a game of S&D, the game ends in the blink of an eye. You know, before you know it, the game's over. You either won or you lost. And it's so important to have that third-party perspective, and that's exactly what Alea is. And he has been able to very clearly catch all of those key points to make sure West Point Mamba Lowkings does not drop a single beat. And not only have they not dropped a single beat here, Callie, they've not dropped a single match, my man.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's the Olea magic. You know, this guy, Olea, he always bring a lot of game plan for Mamba Lowkings. And I'm curious to see what kind of game plan does Olea come up with to help this team get a 3-0 here today, because you never know. This guy has a lot of tricks in his bag, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's take a quick look at the head-to-head here between iPow and PJ. When it comes to the KD average, it's going to be PJ that takes the cake here. And also for those hardpoint captures, not just the hardpoint captures, it's the control objective, not just the control objective. This guy shines on every single department. Are you surprised at all, Beef Mommy?
No, not at all. I mean, everyone in Lowkings is just absolutely great. That's the reason why they are a perfect team right now with 15 wins, right? 0 losses. And it's because of the guidance of this guy as well. Not only do they have a really good coach, which is Olea, but, you know, every single one of them are really good. But for the side of Sector 0, though, iPow is looking really solid. But like what you said before, he needs to be consistent. And this is the day for him to just really be in control.
And not just be consistent, but I feel like iPow, alongside the rest of the players on the side of Sector 0, just need to hunker down and stick with one team, right? They cannot keep hopping bandwagons. They have to stick together. They have to build the kind of chemistry that West Point Mamba Lowkings have managed to build within the community tournaments and bring that sort of same exact fire to the official Garena Call of Duty mobile tournaments and absolutely shut down team after team. And each and every single individual within Sector 0, although they do have those individual quality to be one of the best in ranked matches, but in the competitive scene, it's a whole other story. The teamwork, the kind of chemistry that is needed to win matches most definitely will help you go the distance. With West Point Mamba Lowkings winning the coin toss here, it just ups the ante for Sector 0, just makes this so much more harder for them. Slums and Hacienda banned out. That at the very least is a saving grace here, Callie.
You know what? This is going to be a tough task for Sector 0 because they're going up against WPM Lowkings, and I think Beef Mami would agree on me on this one. Going in Summit Hardpoint, one of the best maps right now of WPM Lowkings. And you're guaranteed to have a very bad time at this game. This team eventually defeated Acno Finesse at this map, 250-67. Then they also blooded Huntsman at Summit as well, 250-86. This is going to be a bloodbath right from the start, AJ.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, Beef Mommy, if there's one of these maps or two that you feel Sector 0 can potentially rip it away from West Point Mamba Lowkings, I know this is purely a theory session because no team has managed to do this so far to West Point Mamba Lowkings. Which one do you think that could potentially be?
Raid Control. That is probably the best map that they could have right now because they wanted Hardpoint, they wanted it Control as well, so maybe they can do the same. But it is up against Acno Finesse, so you know what? Hopefully they do the same here, AJ.
Absolutely. Well, Beef, Callie, without further ado,
Maps for Sector 0 to advance that up to WPM Lowkings. They will give this team a tough beating so far this game. First 10 seconds officially said and done, and you clearly see WPM Lowkings winning all of these gunfights.
Callie, this is just so hard for me to see. Like, when we start off here, it's just the Lowkings all throughout the kill feed. You can see here Demor's PJ getting one apiece, and obviously you get to see a little bit of life coming in from the side of Sector 0. But not only that, they're not going into the hardpoint as well. We're already 30 seconds in, and yet no score, no points left here in Sector 0. So the best they can do, win their gunfights, get that power position, and it's going to be hard because Demor's is just having such a solid hold here in P2.
Yeah, such a big play there from Demor's. Holds down that next hardpoint rotation. Once again, he always delivers. He follows it up with that kill against Pepsi on that kill feed, and that's going to propel this team even more. Starting this game with that momentum, somebody needs to stop WPM right now, and I believe for Sector 0, that should be iPow, one of the key players right now for Sector 0 in playing this hardpoints. But for now, Pepsi gets that opener. That's all they need.
All they need is to really just slow things down because they need to have a solid hold in a power position right now. Good thing for Schiffer, though, gets one. So that's a really good point here. But then he goes and drops down. What a mistake, because you need to have that solid opportunity because the rotation already coming through from the side of Lowkings, getting a lot of these points already. But yes, they're finally getting a hold of this second hard point, which is going to be good. But again, it's not going to be for too long if PJ absolutely goes on a rampage here, which he already is.
I mean, in a perfect hold, PJ is getting warm. He has 14 kills, leading this lobby right now. In the first time that they break this hill, PJ, one of the detrimental factors in this game. But look at the route man, iPow, going to be early in this next hardpoint rotation. They know that this is going to be that Mon Hill, and of course for Sector 0, gonna be very, very huge for them as they chill this game. 65-23, WPM holding this game. And look at this, number 4 and Luffy trying to break that spawn, but that won't happen. Mid shuts him down, but WPM Lowkings, they're trying to gather up the courage once again. They will try to play it slow, use their score streaks early just to try and beat and of course break this point. Beef Mami.
Demore's here with the Dragonfire. That's going to give him really crucial information, so that's good for him so far. And it's all yellow right now in P3 though. And there needs to find a way for WPM Lowkings going for the break, and they finally do. Big kill from PJ yet again with the Annihilator. iPal though with a response in the nade gets rid of him. Kalo with the response as well. So it's been a back and forth situation here in P3, but what we saw here so far is a really solid hold. Even though Sector 0 goes in for the early rotation, it just doesn't really matter because the hold, the retake coming in from Lowkings is just absolutely prime. And now we've seen a split already, and it's just really hard because the points are trickling down a little bit, but it's not too far off. You can definitely see that Sector 0 can still gather more points.
Yeah, I can still gather that points. You can see Sector 0 right now holding their ground. Perfect time, perfect hold, and that's all they needed to get back into this game. But they still have a lot of catching to do. 5 seconds left, and we're moving on to new and WPM Lowkings. This is going to be a perfect setup for them. Though they didn't have that on P3, they will make amends in this game. Now they're starting to bring up that operator skills that could resurface them even forward to pull up even more. As the hardpoint opens up, you can see Shifra trying to get that opener, but in no return, they won't get any. WPM, they stand their ground.
Not only that, they also have a lot of their operator skills already. It's Yopi having that 10, not just that, having a really clear view of the really, really wide shot here. But then it's going to be important how iPow is going to respond here because he also has the Annihilator himself. Let's see how can he respond, knowing very well that you see here, WPM already spread out so thin, and they need to get some kills here because everyone else from Sector 0 is getting slayed out.
And the Sector 0 can't afford to lose any more gunfights anymore, and that could lead to WPM Lowkings building up that score streak, and you don't want that, moving it along on that next hardpoint rotation. 12 seconds left, 133-67. Finally, iPow gets the opener. Now they get to break the hill, but that's going to be scrap time. But hey, every point still matters, but they do gotta make sure that they double it down here at this next hardpoint as we open it up. 138-71. Currently, it's WPM having that lead in Sector 0, looking to make sure that they get to break these pawns, but to no avail. Once again, WPM, they're winning all of these gunfights, and that allows to PJ having 27 kills already in this game.
WPM always having the high ground, and that's what we need to see coming in from Sector 0 because so far, when they had a really good rotation there, it's just not really working. PJ, though, still going at work, having 29 already, only reaching into halfway mark. No, make that 30, not just that, fully streaked out, Annihilator ready. He also has a Predator Missile, Dragonfire, and also a Hunter Killer Drone in his pocket. And there you go, finally blitz out the Predator Missile, gets one though. Not only that, really solid defense here coming in from this man. This is just absolutely crazy.
Absolutely crazy, bullying out the boys of Sector 0 time and time again. That has been the team that Mamba Lowkings is happy to run with. This has been the largest lead they have had all game, but Shifra is going to make sure that this team gets propelled even further, trying to kickstart the engine once again. 1 second left and Shifra is on the streak, but he gets eventually taken down. Dealt with, gone and away, 183-72. We're going into that catwalks. Sector 0, they got the favorable spawns, but Kalo, this is what he gets paid to do, trying to break, of course, that P3, but that's not going to work. iPow holds and maintains his ground. That's what this team needs. They need to make sure they get this point because any more point from WPM Lowkings, they're going to run away with it.
Yeah, and 100-point club, they need to just reach that or else, you know, it's going to be a really devastating loss to their confidence as well. And so Mids needs to find a way to get into 2F. Well, that's good. Finally getting a lot of kills here. So they need to stay here because that is a really good defensive position where they need to just flush out every single one. But obviously, WPM Lowkings already really good at maintaining that spot. Not only that, Gravity Vortex already in order. And now for this team, it's just a really double-edged sword. Yes, they're winning some of their gunfights and really just gathering all the score streaks, but the backup is not really there for the side of Sector 0.
Yeah, they need to be well coordinated moving into this next hardpoint. This hardpoint number 2 is officially said and done. Now they got to stand their ground and of course maintain this position that they have. Elite defense here at this hard point number 3 in the warehouse is where we're gonna go. You see it here right now. Yopi trying to open this hard point down, and again, this is going to be the 5th time that Sector 0 will get bullied out of the point, and they can't afford to do that anymore because right now WPM is running with that momentum. Sector 0, they got the spawns, but they're not inside that point.
It's really the timing of the operator skills, and it just absolutely crazy timing here from the side of Lowkings. They know how to do it. They use their score streaks when they want to go and enter a site, and that's why you get to see them really shine here. Pepsi, though, goes in for the gravity vortex. That's a really big sign here. Maybe can get a lot more points. Finally reaches 100, so they won't be joining the 100-point club. Congratulations for them, but unfortunately, take a look at the scores right now. 229 and 109. It's just 20 points left until the WPM Lowkings take this victory.
Yeah, 14 seconds left, but there's going to be a battle for that next hard point. Look at this. Sector 0 Virus needs to win that gunfight. He needs to stay alive, and he's going to win it. Now his team should be able to go towards the right side of the map, and that should be great. Kalo gets taken down, and there it is. Sector 0, they got that early setup. All they just gotta do again is win those gunfights. But you obviously know WPM, they're going in here hot. They're going to play fast and make sure that they break it in right before this hard point opens up. And that's what they do. Here we go. Sector 0, they're back against the wall. 8 more points for Mamba Lowkings, and this is done and dealt with.
PJ with a 40k, and they're not even done yet. They're on a roll right now. 241 and 129, still kind of doable for Sector 0 to go and try to get some points, and they're having such a really strong and solid hold here. So Mids, though, having only 15 to his name, KSP not really doing super well for him because they've been on an absolute rampage. This gun is going to be really hard, but Luffy with a really big double piece. That's a really big kill for him. Flushes every single one out of the players, but Virus finally gets the trade. But then PJ's there for the assist as well, but still, you can have a bunch of points here coming inside of Sector 0, but where they struggled is actually P1. As you can see here, this blew all over the place. They're already going to be positioned there really well.
Oh, here we go. 2 players for WPM. Getting that breaking the point, but the game and the fight is not yet over. We're moving into another reset. This time around, Sector 0 is going to have the prime position, but WPM going to attack in multiple angles, and they look to end this game. It's going to be Kalo with that annihilator, but he gets dealt with. iPow still creating the play, but the damage has been done. Demors gets it done, steps inside that point, gets that kill, and that's going to be game 1-0 for Lowkings.
And there you go, the first game of the series, and it's looking very detrimental for Sector 0. They only have 2 chances left to try and dethrone Huntsman in that second spot. And as what we saw per usual, WPM Lowkings definitely not making that an easy task. As you can see, your PJ with an absolute annihilation, domination, as whatever you want to call it, with 42 kills. And not just that, I mean, every single one of them just did their job. You can see at the very end here, Kalo having only 17 kills, but also having 2 minutes and 26 seconds inside. So he's doing his job as OBJ. But taking a look at the other side though, Pepsi having that 22, 31 for iPow. They have kills. They're doing their kills, but the OBJ is just not there. Obviously, Pepsi having probably the most points because not only is he having a lot of kills, but 1 minute and 34 seconds also for him.
Unfortunately for these teams here, West Point Mamba Lowkings kind of just proving to them exactly how one-sided Summit can be, right? And it, like you guys pointed out the exact points here, it's not about the kills. Obviously, PJ was on a level of his own. That guy, he had something for breakfast today and he hasn't fully digested it yet. It's still powering him up with all of that energy, right? And he hits that 42 to 24, 1.75 KD average, 5,335 points. It's just insane in terms of numbers. But in terms of map domination, that was always going to be West Point Mamba Lowkings, right? Even from the start of the game, it was just such clear rotations coming through. They know how to hold on to their angles. And although iPow could step up to the plate and play all of those slays really well, like you said, Beef, the objective play of Pepsi as well as Virus, they just really couldn't sustain their lives all that too long. They had really good time overall in comparison to the rest of their team members. But look at the number of deaths dropped here, right? 30 from the side of Pepsi, 33 on the side of Virus. iPow, he wasn't doing his job to its fullest extent there because he wasn't stopping the line of attack coming through from West Point Mamba Lowkings before they got into that hard point. He was roaming around, but he could have spent a little bit more time inside of that hard point in itself. And I feel like that could have been the game changer. If only iPow had won all of those gunfights whilst playing the objective as well, things could have been a little bit different here, Callie.
Oh yeah, exactly. And you know what IPO could do in that close range engagements? He could
Yeah.
serve a lot of kills and a lot of hot plates of deaths for WPM Lowkings. But sadly, that we didn't see from here in this game. He was trying to cut off all of those rotation, but Lowkings just had a lot better gunfights against him. And of course, for IPO, he tried to make amends, AJ. He tried to play the anchor position, but WPM Lowkings is just that good when they play this Summit hardpoint.
We're not surprised mainly because, well, West Point Mamba Lowkings have been super perfect. Why would they drop a single map on that final day, right? They want to be the only team to make it through to the playoffs with a perfect record. Not even Smart Mega, not even Blacklist International Ultimate, not even Almighty, who have always maintained that perfect record whilst moving through the playoffs, have actually managed to get that done during the Garena Masters Season 3 because of the kind of quality that has stepped up in terms of all of those plays from all of the other teams. But West Point Mamba Lowkings, they don't care who they take on. They don't care where they take you on. They are looking for all of those victories. And as they hop on into firing range S&D, I believe it's going to be the exact same thing here. But it's going to be the iPow show most definitely if at all Sector Zero does find a catch on them. Beat Mami and Cali take the match away.
And here we go.
Alright.
Finally, a really interesting take because firing range and S&D, we're not quite sure if Sector Zero can go and perform, but they did choose this map for a reason. And that definitely IPOW will be that guiding light for them. And now Virus going in there very slowly, trying to gather that information, trying to see if he can find anyone here. And they're playing very, very slow. But an interesting thing coming in from the side of WPM Lowkings here, Cali, they're all pushed out into the middle of the map and to B. No one's here for A.
Yeah, they're just looking to play for that retake if that's going to be possible. But Sector Zero, they're not falling for that trap. They're not falling for that bait. But then again, you try to push towards that B bomb site. WPM is going to get you on that flank. But for now, Luffy almost gets blooded there, but still managed to stay alive. Moving into this adjustment made by Sector Zero. Now this time, they're going to push for that A pre-plant at the moment. But Luffy spots that information. That should be enough. WPM Lowkings could be on the move.
And now let's see, Luffy spots one though, but not really quite getting the information that he wanted. The bomb is going to be planted really soon. The defense though is going to be really solid. It's the number one that I'm really glad to see because 1 in 3, take a look at that. That's going to be IPOW going up against Demors and they're going to meet just in the nick of time. And it just looks like Demors doesn't really know what is happening here. And finally, big kills right now coming in from the side of Sector Zero. And they look very comfortable here in firing range as Kalo finally gets that kill. Shifra goes down. It is going to be a 4v1 situation though. It's going to be really hard as Luffy that's going in with a sniper. Doesn't really quite get anyone. Gets one though, mids. It's going to go down, but it's going to be really tricky as Trailer has 2 people that you don't really want to mess with.
That's just a perfect position for Sector Zero. And there you go, IPOW deals the final blow. Great adjustment there. They just made sure that they just tried to wait for WPM Lowkings to make their move. Once that they know that there was information at that B flag, they tried to shift towards that A bomb site, and that's where they got that win. But hey, IPOW is going to be very important for this team, right? Again, he converts, his team has a high odds of winning. But now this time, Beef Mammy, WPM Lowkings will try to have that spread out defense, so that should cut them off some slack when it comes to that rotation once that bomb gets planted.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they left A really open a while ago, and that's the reason why they got an open plat for Sector Zero. Now, Sector Zero is still hanging back a little bit, trying to get that information, looking like they want to go in for the B push, right? So you have 3 players inside of A. And so far, they don't really have that much information yet for Sector Zero, but it looks like they're going in for that B push. Although not quite sure if that's going to be really tricky because 3 versus 2, not only that, the rest of WPM Lowkings already going in there for the rotation. Demors goes in there, trying to go in for the shots, gets one though. PJ gets one as well. And just like that, they probably should have read it right. I mean, it's just, you know that there are going to be 3 people there coming in from the side of Mamba Lowkings. Sector Zero probably should have went in for the rotation because like Pepsi here, they're just sitting here in red.
Yeah, he's sitting like a duck there at that Red Barns, and he could have pushed his team to push to this A side because he knows that there's going to be no information on that mid-map, neither on that A side. But hey, looking to still push for that B side despite it being so active. Now Pepsi takes PJ down, but he's going to be in a state of concern where he's going to have to deal with 3 players. Pepsi still looking around. He spots another player in the corner, and he still wins that gunfight. Still, the game is up for grabs. This could be a 50-50. So long as Pepsi gets that bomb plant and avoids getting picked up once that bomb gets planted, he should be good to go.
2v1 situation here. Still very doable for Pepsi to go and win. Now, that's a really good sign for you to put down a trophy system because you don't want to be naded like that. And now for Luffy having that one, he has the advantage of having that sniper, so that's really good. You have the advantage of the long range, and now you have one more person left. And that's going to be Demores, which has been really absolutely great at close range gunfights. And now he's hearing that there's going to be a little bit of a scuffle here. Tries to go in there for the peek. Knows that's one person right there in firing range. Knows that one person on the bomb needs to go in there for the fight. But yes, he's playing time. 21 seconds left. One behind him and in there for the pinch. Demores finally backstabs him and Pepsi goes down. Getting finally one more win here for Mamba Lowkings. Even things out. So it's still pretty early to tell who is going to win this so far because both teams have been doing really good. I mean, based on that, right, Callie? I think the only blunder here is the fact that we saw Sector 0 not rotate early enough, knowing very well there were like a lot of people in B.
Yeah, and I think they had the point where they really had no chance to rotate because the flank just came through and the game just happened so fast. And WPM Lowkings, they know when to push the pace when it comes to playing on that B bomb. So as much as possible for Sector 0, you want to go push for that B side. You got to make sure your SMGs are going to be having that quick reaction, of course, to take down opponents on that close range engagements. For now, the game stands still. No one moving an inch. WPM Lowkings having that default defense. That's what they do on that last round. And for Sector 0, still considering that B bomb push, but they have 3 players on this A side that could be able to spot information and go for these kills. For now, a first blood would be very, very handy.
Stun check needs to ensue here in A if they want to go and, commit to that. And speaking of stun check, there you go, but it doesn't really get it. Yopi gets 1, No gets 2. Will he get a third?
God.
Yes, he does! Can he get a 4th? No! Virus shuts him down. Kalo, though, with a response, and it's only Virus left yet again. That is going to be difficult. He has the bomb, though, so he has something to work with, but it's going to be difficult. He's going to be hunted down. And there you go. Demores finally puts that nail in the coffin. What a fast round. I mean, Yopi, the stun check was there, yes, but it's like they were sitting ducks there. I mean, IPOW probably should have been, in the scope, probably trying to go in there for the kill, but unfortunately, Yopi is just a little bit too quick.
A little bit too quick. I mean, Yopi, just truly unreal, really putting the pressure on that A side. But for now, for Sector 0, as soon as that first blood hits, they gotta trade that because that means they are able to trade that first blood. But hey, we're going to see the bomb here gets planted. Mids and Virus, good job, but Kalo now on the push. There's the opener, but Virus gonna pick up 3 kills, and that's going to be it. This should be a round win for Sector 0. They only need to worry about one more player, and that man standing, it's Luffy with that scope. He's going to be deadly with that snipe so long as he maintains his range, but he's under fire. The player knows his position. He needs to make sure once he gets that kill, we're positioned to another angle, but he gets caught in the act. Shifra takes him down. That's going to be it. 2-2. Loving the angles that both of these teams are taking, but Beef Mami, Sector 0, solid decision and decisive on that round compared to the latter.
Definitely. I mean, that aggressive push going into Alpha is definitely what they needed because they've been slowed down into the first few rounds that we've had. And now again, a split push. And now it looks like they want to go for Bravo once more, but then you see 2 people going into the bomb. So they're trying to play for picks right now, really going there, very aggressive. IPOW doesn't really quite get the shots. It really just allows Demores to get that kill. And now with that in mind, you just rotate at this point, right, Callie?
Yeah, rotate, but here comes the catch. Once they go back to that jungles, it's going to be
There you
Yopi
go.
witting their fate, and that's going to be devastating. But Yopi, the timing is unreal. He swings to that left corner. That could be a game, but the bomb will get planted. Yopi now up for that retake. He's got the flank. He needs to convert, but Virus, huge shot right there to equalize the numbers in the game. Now, WPM Lowkings at that right side of that map looking for that retake.
That was a beautiful rotation coming in from the side of Sector 0, knowing very well there was a lot of people. Pepsi gets 2. That's a really big 2-piece. Going in for a 4v2 situation in the favor of the Sector 0 boys. And that is a really good play because like what we already pointed out though, but Luffy sees right through them, gets 1, is able to get 1 more, not quite. There you go, he gets spotted. And that's going to be a really difficult situation to be in though. 1v2. Still very doable for Kalo to go and pursue, but Virus yet again with a beautiful double kill. This man cannot be stopped. And there's a reason why he's one of the best players of this team. Just because of that. Really good at the search and destroy, Kelly.
Yeah, really good at search and destroy. Such a big play from Virus, back to back, time and time again. Whenever Sector Zero win those rounds, he always makes sure he follows up once he get those skills, reposition, and of course, get that follow up that Sector needs here to win this game. For now, first blood drawn, Shifra gets that kill against Yopi, but Kelo is going to get that refrag. First 20 seconds, we got a 4v4. But take a look at this. PJ going to wrap around that jungles, and that should keep the pressure on for Sector Zero.
And there you go. Let's see if they can meet. PJ wins that gunfight, so IPOW is going to be down. They need to find a way, though. It's still a very doable 4v3 situation, but obviously the man advantage going into the Lowkings, and they are spread out pretty well. If they do decide to go in for Bravo, right, Kelly, it's going to be very difficult as Luffy finally gets one, absolutely denying that alpha entrance. And now for them, they need to go and rotate because they're going to meet one person, the name of PJ. But there you go, open things up. Virus, yet again, the man himself, goes in there for the Bravo push, but then a really quick rotation coming in from the side of WPM Lowkings. They need to plant now, or else they're just going to open the doors up for WPM to go in for the attack.
All right, going for that retake. The bomb is going to be planted. Plenty of time for WPM to Lowkings to take this, but they could play this like a Swiss Army knife, played in 17 type of strats, but hey, you're going to see it. Kalo's going to rush in right exactly towards firing range. You got number 3 and Demores on the firing range map already. Pepsi needs to win this gunfight. He's under fire, under siege, and Luffy picks him up. All down to Virus. He's gonna have 3 players to deal with. He finds the first player, but he pops out. Overextend too much. And Luffy was able to tag him, gets that 2 kills. Luffy's got 5, gets that defuse. And of course, WPM Lowkings, beautiful retake, played that man advantage perfectly. They swarmed the players with number blitzing the last 2 players, Sector Zero, and they had nothing to do with it. They just got overwhelmed.
Virus overextending to try and deny the plant. That could have been the difference of them winning the round because there was only like, what, 10 seconds left there? But you know what? Let's see, because it's still even on the points right now. Luffy, though, finally, they're switching it up. As we can see here, WPM Lowkings are on the attack. And now let's see how they're going to play because they're playing pretty passively at the moment. Luffy trying to get that information. Doesn't really quite get anything just yet. Tries to go in for the peak. That's a really cheeky spot for him to go and play. And now for, Sector Zero, they just need to stay put, not overextend anything at all. Once the information does get to them, that's when they can go and rotate. 2 people coming in from mid, though. So let's see how that's going to happen because I feel like that is the bloodbath that might actually happen first when they do decide to go push in A.
All right, 40 seconds passing by. Where will Coach Olea bring this squad? Is it going to be that A-bomb site where Sector Zero's got 3 players lined up just to defend, or is it going to be that B-bomb push? It's going to be quiet, nearly and nearly, as you can see now. Both teams surrounded in. Here comes the big push. Virus gets that opening. Luffy looking to get that frag pop off, and you're going to get down. But hey, we're going to see WPM Lowkings brutally get this opening. They're going to plant that bomb.
Still even, though, on the kills. So that's a good sign here so far. Pepsi gets one, though, PJ. So it's all trades after trades. But still, as I said that, it's not going to be even anymore. A 2v1 situation here as Sector Zero finally finds their footing. As PJ finally goes down and Shifro with the big 2 kills really just secures them another round. Not only that, enough time to go in there for the defuse. That is a really good sign here for Sector Zero. They are responding very well here, Callie. And now with that win in this round, they have the advantage, which we haven't really seen so far. This kind of fight from Sector Zero is what we want to see in this competition.
Yeah, and of course for Sector Zero, they need 2 map wins to clinch that second spot to play for that playoffs. But then again, on that round number 7, I say again, just a beautiful game plan there from Sector Zero. Right as soon as the nade comes through over towards that A site, Shifra moves in at that trailer where he gets that 2 Ps. That's where they're able to convert and get a defusal. But for now, the bomb gets planted. Sector Zero playing for that retake, still doing the same thing that they did at round number 7. Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Here comes the push.
And now the push ensues, and so far so good for Virus. Gets 1, Mids gets 1 as well, so you get to see a little bit of cracks coming in from the side of WPM Lowkings, but Luffy, though, with a response, and Kalo as well, but there you go, Virus is on a tangent as well. Ooh, big kills coming in from Kalo, going for the backside, ending it with a beautiful 2-piece, and it's a back and forth type of situation we really like to see here, a 4-4. Ooh, and it seems like both of these teams are really good at doing aggressive plays here in the beginning, because so far, when they take too much time, that's when they lose going in from the attack.
And it's just lapses of the game for both of these two squads. But of course, for WPM Lowkings, one missed timing from Sector 0 is all it takes for them to try to form a wave, making amends on their round number 7. They will tie the game, but here's is going to be the very important part. You take this next round, you're going to be closer to that victory. Target score to 7. You get that 5 rounds, only need 2 more, and that's going to pressure your opponent even more. But for now, at this state of the game, WPM Lowkings still playing it neutral, playing it slow, but that bomb is pushed towards jungle. They might go and push that. For the meantime, there's no first blood just yet, and you clearly see that these teams, they know that this is an important round.
And now you can see iPow knows very well that there's one person going in from Alpha, but the good rotation coming in from iPow, though, going in for Bravo, knowing very well that it's going to be multiple players. Mids gets one, but Yopi gets the trade. Shifra doing a really big job at getting rid of the sniper of WPM Lowkings, and now they have the advantage of having one more person up. But it's all up to everyone here, especially number 3. Take a look at that. Virus going in for the backstab. But obviously for Kalo, he's right there for the assist as well. And looks like they're not committing to B just yet, trying to get a lot of these kills. And I feel like for iPow, he needs to do a better job at getting more kills in those entry frags if they want to really win this. But good for him. Everyone else in his team is getting a lot of these kills as Shifra takes down Kalo, and Demor's having one more. And now it's a 3v1 situation, but knowing Demor's, it's still very doable for him. But Pepsi is just a little bit better in those close quarter combats, bringing it up to a 5-4, and we are at a race of 7 here. And you see here, Sector 0 with the advantage.
Yeah, advantage 2 more rounds, and they should take this map, and they could have the chance to tie against Huntsman on that map count. But Sector 0 played that retake per perfection. They know Mids took that first blood, and they reinforced quite fast, and that was more than enough for them to dethrone and, of course, declutter WPM on that B bomb site push. And now we're going to see some more action at this A bomb site, but look all the way back in this map. You can't just run around like a wolf pack non-stop, and that would be the play. You gotta make sure you cover the 2 entries in both of the bomb sites, and for now, Sector 0, this could be the perfect play for them to take that lead even more.
Oh, BJ though with a beautiful triple! Denies him, but it's a good job as well for him that Demors is right there for the backup, getting rid of iPow. And now, again, we're evened up. A 5-5. And it's a back and forth that we like to see here. My goodness, that man cannot be stopped. It's a 3-piece. He keeps getting multi-kills after multi-kills. I mean, I just blinked, and just like that, everyone in from the side of Sector 0 were like dropping like flies. And now going in for a really aggressive push, the whole stack going into Bravo. They won't see this coming as PJ gets in 1 as well. And now you need to go in for a really fast rotation, not just that, get for picks. And PJ, he's just on an absolute rampage as well as Yopi.
And Nate's getting tossed, just soften up that defense. Pepsi gets that first, but exchange, the bomb has been picked up, but he's going to get eradicated. Pepsi with that huge kill. Just try to stop the boys of Lowkings from getting this push just yet, but Virus needs to stay alive, needs to win more gunfights for the side of Sector 0. They're looking to play for this push. Once they get that resources in, that back of that firing range, this is when you'll know WPM is going to be having a very rough time. But for now, DJ spots the players on that tires. He could land this one blow, and his team could get that push towards tires. And there we go. Luffy is going for that push. He gets 1, but the game not yet over. iPow still waiting for that timing, but he's going to back away. And now for PJ, creates that play, dropping Pepsi. The battle is not yet over here, Bifami. 2v2.
2v2 situation. They need to slow things down here for the side of WPM Lowkings. Shifra, though, tries to go in there for the kill. Very possible for him to go and get the kill. And speaking of, you need to slow things down and not really go and overextend. A 1v1 situation. It's all up to you, PJ. What can you do? As the bomb still needs to go and be defused. iPow, though, needs to go and check his corners, because just like that, PJ knows very well where he is. Playing time. PJ needs to go and play time, and iPow finally gets it, and he clutches it up. Not only that, with the defuse, and this is where you need to step it up, iPow. Very good on you, brother, because they have just been 1 more round away into winning the search and destroy, and this is probably one of the hardest things to do right now, is to close out a round here in search and destroy. Let's see what these boys can do, Callie.
Sector 0, 1 map, 1 more round, and this should be yours. But such a big play from iPow again. He delivers. He follows it up on that 1v1. He clutches. And now his team has that match point. Can they do one more round? That's going to be the main questions. WPM Lowkings looking to get that first blood. But Luffy will decide to go back away saying, I have no information, so I'm gonna go for a better view! He drops iPad, one of the key players from Sector 0 out. Now, here is the question, Sector 0. What can you do?
What can you do if you were Sector 0? But there's still a lot of things they can do because they only dropped one person. Ayapao, though, going to be the sniper of their team, and Luffy, though, has been on fire here so far. So we know that Ayapao can deliver when it comes to clutching up a round, but it's just really hard because early game he needs to go and perform there as well. So he needs to find a way to just go and stop it, especially from the side of Virus, because he has been the playmaker of this team here so far. And finally, the push comes through just a little bit, it's just a tiny bit. And there's going to be two players in for Lowkings to try and go there. Oh, let's see if he can go and find a kill. But then Shifra, though, tries to go in for the smoke. But then unfortunately for him, PJ, Yopi, and Luffy just a little bit too quick. And now we're switching sides yet again, a 6-6. We are finally getting into our round 13 where, let's see, closer and closer. We're not quite sure what the fate of Sector 0 brings, but from the past performances that we've seen here so far in S&D, it's very doable for them to snatch this map away up against WPM Lowkings and secure the one more spot up against the Huntsman. And now,
All right, the game's not over, Beef Mammy.
It's not over yet. I mean, we are around 13 here, so we're just hyping it up because, of course, the storyline is going to be around 13. Of course it is. I mean, Sector 0, this is your last shot. This is your final way for you to try and get one slot. I mean, yes, there's control, right? But still, search and destroy, you need to bag this because you're so close into winning this map. And for you to secure S&D, you're just one step closer into maybe even securing that second spot. And so, again, very passive play coming in from Sector 0. They don't want to make any mistakes here, Callie.
And they don't want to make that mistakes. What have we said for Sector 0? All the adjustments. You get that first blood, you make that perfect play. Right now for Ayapao, there's not going to be any players on his side, but one thing he could do is send out information for his team that there's not going to be any players there. They are now looking to full stack their way towards A again. A bomb site for Sector 0 is their prime spot. They get this bomb plant, they have a high odds of winning this game, but WPM Lowkings, they are trying to slow it down as well, using that smoke, using all those nades to try to soften that defense. A great opener for WPM Lowkings could get them this round, but for Sector 0, they need this more than Lowkings, and now this fight is about to break out.
Let's see the fight that will break out right now. Schiffer, though, and Virus gets 2. Demorse, though, gets 2 for himself, evening things out. But no, there's actually a 3v2 situation here still. Just going into the side of the Lowkings, but oh no. This is going to be difficult here as the bomb will be defused as Kalo delivers that final blow. And as what we thought that Sector 0 had signs of life here in Search and Destroy. Yes, they had an abundance of it. They just could not close things out as WPM Lowkings just extends the pressure just a little bit as one map left for the decider of the fate of Sector 0 right now, Callie.
Yeah, and Yopi was a real factor why Sector 0 had a rough time inside this game. Yopi was just a constant concern. We did see him get those 3 kills, multiple kills after multiple kills in this Search and Destroy. But one thing big he did there, Beef Mammy, get that opener at the trailer, gets that first kill, opens up WPM Lowkings' line of attack on that A trailer, and that was just poof. This game done and dealt with. We got 4 players with 10 plus kills for the boys of WPM Lowkings, and that's just perfect plays at the end. But props to Sector 0, they made it close. They were 1 round away, Beef Mammy, but close, but no cigar.
Yeah, close but no cigar. I mean, they're just like, they were lighting up the battlefield, the firing range with so much finesse and so much lust, though, and it's just... my goodness. They just need to close things out here in Control because that was a really good showing from not only Hardpoint. Yes, Hardpoint was a little bit far on the points, but it was just way closer here in Search and Destroy where what we said, it is the closest matchup that we've seen here so far for WPM Lowkings against anyone here. And we're really seeing a different Sector Zero. It's just they need to clean it up just a little bit for control. And that's what we said a while ago, right? AJ brought up a really good question. And now speaking of AJ, I'm going to bring you back here just a little bit for this conversation. You asked me, control for me is probably the map that they could go and pull it off. And especially after this search and destroy, without a doubt, they can do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. I mean, the engagements were just perfect. And what I really liked about this S&D between these two teams was they didn't drop the ball when they were on the attacking side. Each team most definitely taking that bomb straight up to that bomb side, getting that plant first, piling on the pressure, not just putting, but piling on that pressure to their opponents. And, you know, usually you just see one team doing that and the other one just kind of following their pace. But this particular game wasn't like that, right? It was neck and neck, whether on the offensive or defensive. The players of Sector Zero were trying to keep up with the players of West Point Mamba Lowkings. And what do you know? They managed to get exactly that done, right? For 12 rounds, it was neck and neck. And down to the 13th, unfortunately, it had to go the way of the most consistent team within the group stage so far, right? Still holding on to their perfect record. If only iPow had gotten more than just some important kills, because some of the slays that he got out there were really, really crucial for them to clutch out some of those rounds. But if only he had been able to deliver more numbers, this particular matchup could have been so different, right? It was the angles or the positions that he was holding on to that were just a little bit too soft for me, was just a little bit too predictable, which allowed Luffy to shut him down time and time again. A little unfortunate overall if you look at where Sector Zero has managed to go in this matchup, right? They've took the fight up to them all the way into round 13, and just for that very final round to drop the ball, most definitely unfortunate. But it's a good momentum builder, especially after quite the non-showing at that hard point earlier on. This S&D would have built up a bit of momentum for them to perhaps clinch this victory at raid control. It's their last hope. It's their last hope to trigger a tiebreaker with the players of Huntsman, with the team. And I feel like, you know, although I am Malaysian, although I want the Huntsman to go off to the playoffs, I really want to see exactly what Sector Zero can bring to the table. And hopefully they can show us that they've got the quality to shut down West Point Mamba Lowkings. Callie and Beef, take the match away.
Here we go, Beef Mami. Moment of truth.
I'm so
For
scared.
Sector Zero, one final match, one last battle, one last fight for them to qualify for that playoffs. And this game's about to get hot. This game about to get spicy. We open things up with WPM Lowkings having that life count advantage.
Yeah, they do have a life advantage here, and not only that, Mids is doing such a great job at really just solo holding here all by himself, but he does have a little bit of, you know, assist coming in from his team, finally go in for the rotate, and Luffy goes down as iPow gets that kill. And you know what, they just need to just not play this like a team deathmatch. Okay, maybe it sort of is, but play it more like an S&D. Maybe you can slow things down. They are going in for 1 point, so that's a really good job. Almost getting that. There you go. Objective B already into the hands right now of Sector Zero. So far, so good here.
Yeah, so far, so good for this team. As long as they stand their ground, hold this kitchen control, because Yopi is going to be that nuisance. Great job for them shutting this guy out, but they remove the chance of getting spawn killed, so that's a plus. And Mids holding his gun at the basketball court, dropping Luffy. That should cut them off some slack. And hey, the life count is not that bad. They have managed to turn it around. They just only need 3 kills to tie up that game, to tie up the life count in this match. For Virus, he needs to get this landing blow. His teammate's gonna get one trading this bets, but for Shifra, he needs to stay alive to get this control towards this kitchen. If not, it's going to be a very, very bad problem. D-Morse opens up, and this is it. The push comes through. WPM Lowkings, they have the high ground.
The high ground already ensuing, so that's a really good job here so far. I mean, like what I said a while ago, I mean, WPM already getting a hold of Alpha just a little bit. Yes, they were able to get Bravo really quickly because they were just winning all of the gunfights, and just what we said, that they were kind of in an even playing field. Lowkings just absolutely decimated them. Kalo with a really big 3. Mids tries to go in for the response, but with nothing whatsoever. 11 versus 3 lives left in their favor, and now Mids needs to play for his life, needs to go in there for the denial here in Alpha. And you know what, Callie? It's just really hard to see that the Lowkings finally found their rhythm after winning that search and destroy.
One segment in done by WPM Lowkings, and they're looking to grow that even more, but they can only worry about one more kill, and this would be game. PJ has his eyes set on the prize, but iPow shots him down. Now iPow is slowly going to advance. onto that kitchen. D-Morse could get that kill, and of course, iPow needs to win this. There it goes. The game is still alive. iPow gets that huge two-piece. Shifra drops Yopi. 3v1 mids, holding the battle at that basketball court, and Shifra is going to follow up with
my
one.
God.
Picking up persistence. Sector 0, they battled, but Luffy, with that scope, created the damage on that long range. And I think that's pretty smart for WPM Lowkings. They were losing all of that gunfights on the close range, so they decided to bring up the long range guns, and that's where they pick up that kill. They take that first round.
A sniper is really good in control because it's like an S&D where your life matters here. And not only that, the more you bring your enemies closer, that's when they can go and take you down. But if you have that range, if you have the advantage of range, which is what a sniper can bring, that can definitely go and make the difference in this game. And now for iPow, they need to go in for that Bravo push because they are on the attacker side. But it's looking like Halo, Yopi, and Luffy yet again. This trio is just an absolutely great pairing.
Yeah, they are double trouble. Pseudo gonna get that two-piece, but hey, for the push made by Sector 0 towards me, they didn't get a tick. They only got to a life deficit there, and Yopi is going to shred that even more. Problems right now for the boys. Sector 0, iPow's gonna lose that gunfights, and Yopi has been a constant concern. He's been that dagger for Sector 0, 19 and 22. We got 44 seconds, so plenty of time for this squad to make their push and get that control on the flags. And they're looking to push this B. This should be good for them, but they gotta worry about the players coming towards mid and that laundries.
And now they're just having a really hard time trying to break into one site at the very least because Lowkings is just gatekeeping them so bad when it comes to their defense. It's just so solid. And now they're trying to go in for that Bravo push hit again, yes. But guess what? Who's going to greet them? 4 players coming in from the side of Lowkings. They need to just stay put. No need to over push here. They just need to try and battle it in the long range. And now, as what I'm saying, the closer that they get there, the worse it can get. But hey, it's a good thing because one player from Pepsi is there to go in there for the defense, but they need to slowly push out going into A. And not just that, just worry about your lives as well because it's still pretty even in the lives.
Yeah, still pretty even. That's going to be it. This is going to be huge for Sector 0s. They are really close battle on that life count department versus WPM Lowkings. They have made the adjustments. Now it's all tied. They got that B control flag. So now they're just going to have to worry about this A, which is going to be very hard for that retake, especially when your opponent is going to have that height advantage and, of course, those head glitches to back them up. So if you're Sector 0, you got to fight using trades. And it's gonna be very devastating if they don't win this gunfights. But we see that opener, iPow on this corner. He spots that guy. He backs away first. Very smart for him to wait for his team on that window to get that landing blow. And that's all they need.
Yes.
But they still are going in for the push. One segment in, Sector 0 could initiate that spawns, but they will not try and do that, focusing more on that objective. And here it's go. Down to the wire. PJ on the flank, your B family. This could be a big one.
But then there you go. He gets taken down by Virus, though that's a really good kill so far. But then Kalo with the Annihilator just shuts them down one by one. But then they need to worry about the lives that they have. They need to slow things down. And yes, they were pretty slow into probably like the half of A when they didn't really get to touch it that much in Sector 0. But right now, Sector 0 has the advantage. But then with 38 seconds left on the clock, it's going to be really hard. They're overextending just a little bit. And yes, they're trying to go in there for the kills as well. But they also need to find the objective of staying and trying to capture Alpha.
Oh yeah, this is going to be double trouble for them. Solid hold right now for WPM Lowkings, holding their own ground, staying in the power position. But iPow,
there
not
you
afraid
go.
to take the fight. Hot shot, big shot, you name it, 1-1. And that's the plays that we won for Sector 0, Beef Mammy.
Yes.
Not afraid to take those risks. Play with relentless. And that's what they did in that round number 2. And we're moving on to new. This time around, WPM Lowkings gonna play as the attackers. And here comes the trap. They're gonna push for that A site. Sector 0, they're expecting that bomb or the attack to move in at that A site, but Lowkings setting their priorities straight, looking to get this A site. They already got that one segment in progress, and that's going to be a very nice start here for Lowkings.
Yeah, Lowkings is very good at the attack, and for Sector 0, they're just really weak when it comes to the defense. But if they play like how they played a while ago, when they slowed things down and really just establish all the kills, try to get one piece at a time, then maybe that can happen. But Yopi and BJ getting really big kills just brings it down just a little bit. But yes, still very doable for them to go and make a comeback. But just take a look at that. Bravo is all open, and not just that, Alpha is already halfway there. There's no one with a response. They are being played right now. The really good plays coming in from the side of WPM Lowkings, just amazing plays. They not only did they go for Alpha and made it go halfway, they decided that, okay, how about that? Let's go rotate into B. And now, just like that, with just only 1/3 left of Alpha just available to go into the prize. And not just that, the life advantage as well for WPM Lowkings is just looking very dire for Sector 0.
Yeah, that means they're not winning most of that gunfights and they're getting trapped in that spawns. But finally, they had the mental resolve to finally get out of it, but the damage has been done. Great margins on that life count, and we are starting to slowly see WPM Lowkings gain grounds. They're putting the spontaneous attacks on Tiki, but iPal shuts one down, but Timor's guns him out, and Shifra plays for that trade. Beautiful. But the third segment is WPM Lowking eyeing for, but good thing for Sector 0. They have 3 players to stack, and of course, dwindle down that point of contention. 8-17. A lot of life count for WPM Lowkings to take this battle. And now they are getting that money room control. This could be devastating, but Sector 0 still fighting.
Yeah, there's still a lifeline here left, as they know very well where everyone else from the side of WPM Lowkings are. They just need to put their sights on either kitchen or all the way into the other end of pool, where there's going to be 2 players. That's going to be your slayers. I mean, you only have 13 versus 4 lives left. PJ, though, with a big double, just really brings things down, and it's just looking like a round win coming in from the side of Lowkings with 1 minute left to spare. And not just that, they can go capture Alpha, but with 1 life left, there you go, bringing it down. But then, looking at the points, they brought it up 2-1. 1 more win coming in from the side of WPM Lowkings for them to try to secure and deny the 2nd seat of Sector 0.
In a moment of truth here, Sector 0, they need to win 2 rounds straight, but a couple picks come through. But every time a player from Sector 0 falls, it makes their defense much harder. And hopefully the same thing doesn't happen here as they go in for the offensive. Yopi is going to come in that middle of the map looking for that attack, and frontal assault is going to happen. And WPM, they also initiated the flank, and that's been the storyline. Constant aggression from WPM Lowkings. They're playing this game like a Swiss Army knife. Plenty of strats that they just showed. They absolutely decimated the boys of Sector 0, but hey, great recovery, adjustments has been made. Sector 0 on this B, they already got 1 segment in.
Now it's really hard because the life count already coming in from the side of Sector 0 is just, you know, they need to really make it special. I mean, it is 22-22, and so far Bravo is going to be held really solidly. But then with just 1 player there, they won't be able to utilize it very well. So they need to go and pick one side. A is going to be open, but then I feel like they should have rotated there a little bit earlier, because that just allows WPM Lowkings to send in 3 players in there for the attack. And it's going to be very difficult. They're being pushed out so far into spawn.
And of course, still though, that life battle still going to be in favor for WPM Lowkings. But they will not really want to make this game really close, as they're looking to pull away in that game, in this match as well. Match point for them. Sector, they're going to push out the driveway. Great job there by Pepsi, dropping down KLO. Now they get the full segment in. They get the capture. They extend that time. 1:40 for them to get that A control point. Shifra deals in the opener towards mid. Now they get that access. It's going to be very important. You get that mid-map control. You get all sides covered. But Yopi still stands in a power position. And he's only here swinging. He's gonna get that kill. Gonna get this statue control as well, and this is going to be problematic for Sector 0. Here comes PJ with that annihilator beef mammy, but luckily he gets shot down. So Sector 0, they just need to slow it down. That life count is dwindling. The life battle's still on. WPM, they got that advantage.
Now, speaking of an advantage, it's just really dwindling just tiny bit. And not only that, they need to capture A. They're being spawn trapped right now, and it's going to be difficult if they just allow WPM Lowkings to let this happen. And now, I feel like for Bravo a while ago, they probably should not have sent 3 players there, knowing very well you only have 1/3 left to try and make a difference. And probably should have stacked A But there you go. Finally wins a lot of these battles here. 7-8. They bring things down a little bit more evenly. Yopi gets a lot of these shots. Ipao finally with 22 kills. Gonna be really big. So it's still very doable for them to go and capture Alpha. But then at this point, you have 30 seconds left on the clock. But yes, obviously it's gonna be paused once you do step on this control point. And it's gonna be difficult because every single one, they're flushing down from the very back. But they are winning their gunfights though. Still signs of life coming in from the side of... Oh no! As soon as I said that, I was expecting, I was hoping, I was praying that WPM Lowkings was going to drop that map. But there you go. Sector 0. Awit! Awit! And there you go. I mean, Sector 0 really definitely put on a really great fight here. But unfortunately for them, they're going to have to sit down and let the Huntsman fly all the way here from Manila. Going in there very hot, watching this stream on their toes here, Callie. That is just absolutely crazy.
Valiant effort for Sector 0. They've managed to keep it close in that search and destroy, but this here, right on this control raid, where we kind of expecting them to put in a little bit more effort and more fight. But WPM, it's easy to read that book if you wrote it. And Lowkings on point, all that fanciness, all those conversion gonna happen. PJ is going to be the responsible player here, getting that MVP, 30 kills, 22 deaths, and 7. Very, very huge play for him, but you really have to commend the team play here, Beef Mami. Everybody was just winning their engagement, though they will have 2 players with that negative KD. They make up for it with those traded kills. So that's really important here when you play this control where the lives are limited.
Yeah, I mean, they were just a little bit better when it comes to the defense and just having a really hard time on the attack. But they were stacking B. They were stacking B a lot, even though they only had a little bit left and probably should have rotated into A when it was still available. But you know what? We have a lot to say, but I'm pretty sure the man at the back has been watching here, AJ Mustachio. What do you have to say when it comes to this control game? Because we thought it might be a close one.
Yeah, it was a close one, right? And that was down to the wire. It could have gone into a round number 5 here, but unfortunately for the players of Sector 0, West Point Mamba Lowkings were getting a little hungry. They wanted to go off. They wanted to have their dinner already. But the biggest question I've got for this particular series is, what's up with the headbands? What's up with the headbands that all of the West Point Mamba Lowkings players are wearing on their head? I want to know the story behind that. But as far as I'm concerned, Sector 0, they put up a great fight. They put up a solid fight, but this was always going to be the result at the end of the day. The kind of quality that West Point Mamba Lowkings drops into the competition, unmatched. And they complete the group stage absolutely perfect. Out of 18 rounds, they've got 18 wins. And one thing's for sure, they are ready for the playoffs, Beef.
Definitely ready. I mean, they have been one of the best teams that we've had here so far, not only for this season, but for the past seasons as well. So they definitely want to be king here, just like their name. They don't want to be Lowkings. They want to be the High Kings. They want to be the #1 team here in Garena. And now for what we've seen in the past few matches, we saw glimpses of hope when it comes to that search and destroy firing range here, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. I mean, the name Lowkings, it's like if anybody, reads the Bible, Jesus, he sat down at the very back bench only to be brought forth to the front, right? That's the exact same thing I see here in the name of the Lowkings. They can say that they are the Lowkings, but we know that they have got the capabilities of being the kings of Garena Call of Duty Mobile, right? And that's exactly what they're proving out there within this group. No one has been able to touch them, let alone challenge them in any one of these matches. I mean, you could have seen some close games, but at the end of the day, it's what always matters is who manages to reach that end line. And by far, it has been West Point Mamba Lowkings time and time again. Shocking victory at the S&D only because we saw signs of life out of Sector 0, right? We saw them take this back and forth, round after round. They were just swinging back and forth between themselves as well as the players of West Point Mamba Lowkings. But towards the very end, once again, it was the opener from Luffy in, I believe, the second last round, shutting down Ipao that kind of crushed their hopes and dreams flat out there, right? And it was just for West Point Mamba Lowkings to wrap up in that final round, which they did. At Hardpoint, on the other hand, it was just all out the map control at Summit, a one-sided map played to perfection here from the side of the Lowkings, Callie.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, for Sector 0, they have always maintained the early rotation. They've always had that good position and, of course, that defense to hold against WPM Lowkings. But their gunfights is not really enough to distinguish or extinguish the gunfights that WPM's been winning in this game. And now, time and time again for WPM Lowkings, yes, they will have those early rotations, but they also had those late rotations wherein they bullied out Sector Zero with their gunfights. UP was there to create the plays, get that opener, and the team would follow up. And not to mention, Luffy going in for that spawns truly created the difference on that hard point.
And you see exactly what West Point Mamba Lowkings does, and in terms of the guns that they bring into these matches, right? At Summit, you just saw a all-out 5-man setup on the KSP-45. But because you need that extra range at firing range, they swap out some of those KSPs for the Peacekeeper. And that's the kind of adjustments that you want to be bringing into these type of matches, right? And that's exactly where, once again, the West Point Mamba Lowkings kind of take the cake here. They know exactly what sort of firepower you need in these different ranges of engagements, and that usually gives them the advantage. And down at Control, it was an all-out team deathmatch to a certain point for the side of West Point Mamba Lowkings. Second round was a solid play from the side of Sector Zero, because just when you thought that perhaps it wasn't going to go their way, they managed to shut them down. But all of those rounds, surprisingly, were quite close, Beef.
Very close. I mean, I feel like at that last Control game, I was really hoping that Sector Zero can really just put down all of the kills, but unfortunately, they just overextended a little bit too much into spawn, and that's where everything just went down. But hey, AJ, I mean, this guy, PJ, he's been an absolute shredder, not only in Search and Destroy, but also in the respawns as well, getting multi-kills after multi-kills.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if you talk about PJ, it's not just in this series that he has managed to shine through for the side of West Point Mamba Lowkings, right? PJ has been a consistent star on the side of the Lowkings, and he didn't want to drop the ball towards the final day. I mean, West Point Mamba Lowkings could have approached this final series with the mindset of, we've made it to the playoffs already, we don't have to give our best. But that's not the kind of team West Point Mamba Lowkings is. They've got a job, and their job is to shine, and they shine very, very well with PJ leading the front, just absolutely taking the fight to their opponents, slaying them exactly where they stand. A KD average of 1.60 through all of those battles that they've taken so far is absolutely impressive. And even those objectives that he usually manages to play for himself as well is quite commendable, right? PJ is the kind of player you want to have on your side if you want to be winning out series, Callie.
Oh yeah, this guy is hungry. And when a player is hungry, he will do whatever it takes to feed and eat. And this guy, he eats it on that battlefield, AJ. And curious to see what's he going to do in that playoff, since they're perfect here at this group stage.
Absolutely. And, you know, obviously the drama is not all over just yet. We just saw one team being upset, and we also saw one team, okay, we didn't see, but off screen, you know, the Huntsmen are smiling year to year, right? They were praying. They were on their knees, okay, after that hardpoint matchup. They were like, yes, God is, you know, giving us everything that we are praying for. But the S&D matchup, that's exactly where their knees would have been shaking. They would have been fearing, okay, maybe Manila's not going to happen, right? But that sort of drama still goes on to continue. Right after this, we've got BLACKLIST International Ultimate taking on CKG Legacy, and that's one you do not want to miss. A quick short break. We'll be right back.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of news today and expect a chance of anti-air missiles. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies. ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of notes today and expect a chance of anti-missiles. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of notes today and expect a chance of anti-missiles. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of notes today and expect a chance of anti-missiles.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Garena Call of Duty Mobile Masters Season 3, the final day of the group stage, and the drama just does not end. We just saw one team get their hearts broken, and another team we didn't see, but we can guarantee you they are extremely happy. And you know, to another point as well, right? I kind of saw like the tickets being booked for the Huntsman already. So whoever was booking those tickets in the background as well, they would have been really happy because they don't need to cancel the Huntsman's ticket now. They get to still fly through to the playoffs. But once again, like we mentioned, the drama does go ahead to continue. Blacklist International Ultimate now takes on CKG Legacy. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with Beef Mommy as well as Cali Gaming. They are bringing you guys all of the hottest action out there on the battlefield. Well, I drop by once in a while to say hi to all of you guys. I hope you guys don't mind all that too much that we only have 3 series in here, because we know exactly how much you love Garena Call of Duty Mobile. But Cali, all 3 series, blockbuster series, ain't they?
Yeah, everything is added in with a lot of drama, and you can clearly see in that last game, it was Sector 0 who will not be able to qualify, and Huntsman being able to bag and clinch their seat onto that playoffs. But here for CKG Legacy, right now they need wins against Blacklist International Ultimate in order for them to not only create a statement that they are here not to just play, they are here to qualify for the playoffs, but they're also fighting for that playoff spot, and they must do everything here for them to win these games, because it's Blacklist that they're going to fight.
And if there's anyone who has proven themselves at the group stage, it is actually CKG Legacy, because one of the main things we focus on for the group stage is the double round robin format, where teams get to take on the other teams, obviously, in their group, but it's not just once, whereas they get to make it to the playoffs, but it is twice. You have to face the team twice. And the one point that we focus on the most is how are those adjustments? Once you take a loss, or once you face a little bit of troubles in that first encounter, how can you bring those adjustments in that second half? And CKG Legacy has been one of those rare teams that have actually managed to prove themselves in this double round robin setup. And to, further explain exactly what I mean, and I do apologize, you guys know exactly what just happened, so we're not going to recap the scores just yet, yeah? To prove exactly what I mean is the first time CKG Legacy met VVV Esports, they lost 1-2. The only map they were able to win was Hardpoint. When they met C8 United, they lost 1-2 as well. But with the double round robin setup, the second time they met VVV, they beat VVV 2-1. The second time they met C8 United, they beat C8 United 2-1. They lost 0-3 to Blacklist International Ultimate. Could this be a foretelling as to what might happen? Because Beef, if they manage to reverse out the scores, if they manage to turn this on its head and beat Blacklist International Ultimate 3-0, I think all of us are going to lose our minds, Beef.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I was catching my breath. I was out of breath here, but I was casting into that final matchup that we saw here up against our first matchup in WPM Lowkings versus Sector 0. So I would expect the same here for CKG Legacy and Blacklist International Ultimate. Just what you guys have been saying is that CKG Legacy still has a shot, but they need to be perfect here, having a 3-0, and expect VVV Esports to have a blunder up against C8 United. And yeah, you brought up a really good point. This team is actually really good because they were able to take off 2 maps off of VVV Esports. No, I mean 3 rather. And that's something that is really a big deal. Why? Because VVV Esports just beat Blacklist International Ultimate 2-1 into our last game. I think that was that was day 8. That was Super Sunday. And so with that kind of trajectory, Blacklist International Ultimate, they're looking a little bit shaky right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And the worst thing that can happen for CKG right now is for them to lose that coin toss, because if they do win, then they give away the opportunity to pick the SND map to their opponents, which is Blacklist International Ultimate, and that's not something they have to worry about because they have absolutely bombed out in a majority of their SND matches. So yeah, just let your opponents pick that map, right? But speaking of the players of Blacklist International Ultimate, Captain Jabin, AG, Skirt, Tin, Yato, as well as FDX, they lead their way into this next matchup, and they have been quite solid in the competition so far. Guaranteed to make it through to the playoffs. This is one of those rare teams where each and every single individual player has managed to maintain a positive KD in a solid way throughout the whole group stage, Cali.
Oh yeah, and right now for Blacklist Ultimate, they are coming here in this game with a loss against the boys of VVV Esports, and now they need to bounce back in this series just to prepare themselves on that playoff. So obviously, you're going to see Yato, you're going to see Scared absolutely do their thing. One of these two right here is going to be the best players when it comes to that slaying department. Then you add in FDX, who's been a constant on those control game modes. This team is stacked, but right now, they do need to get that win, AJ.
Oh, yeah. And, if you look at the lineup of the players of CKG Legacy, under the leadership of Type, you've got the players Azure, Clayhow, DNA, High, as well as Yobabs. And every single thing that CKG Legacy has thrown into the competition so far has mainly centered around the place of Clayhow. This guy is your point man at those hard point matchups. At control as well, he usually signs through. But CKG Legacy is a well-balanced team. The only problem here is Beef, that throughout all of their team members, it's only Clayhow that has managed to maintain a positive KD so far, with High sitting down at a current 0.36 on that KD average, which is not too impressive at all. So if you take those stats, you match it up against Blacklist International Ultimate, who have got positives all around, some of their players at 1.5, some of their players at 1.42, 1.45, it looks like they are going to be outmatched here by the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, Clayhow really is the playmaker of this team. And so it really is the job of everyone else to go and step things up to the plate. And speaking of the man himself, going up against Yato, that is really even on the points, not only with the average kills, but with the average scores as well. But like what you said, everyone else needs to step it up, or either that, play around Clayhow.
Yeah, and in terms of both of these players, they usually do hop into those objectives, but Yato has a little bit of extra solid backup from the rest of his team members, clearing out the perimeters before their opponents can even make it through to the objectives, which allows Yato to shine even further, right? Taking the KD average and comparing them, Clayao with a 1.08 versus the 1.50 of Yato, but where it is truly differentiated is the fact that Clayao is the best player on his side, whereas Yato is one of the better players on the side of Blacklist International Ultimate. And that is going to be pushing the boundaries of CKG Legacy a little bit later on. But if it is not for the gunfights, we have usually focused on this strategy. And that one strategy that potentially can lead the players of CKG Legacy grabbing this victory over Blacklist International Ultimate has to be the win on that coin toss. So let's see if not Lady Luck looks at CKG Legacy and smiles. And yes, she does. CKG Legacy dictates the pace of this next match, and they lead us into Raid. And this was the map where CKG Legacy managed to shut down VVV ESPORTS, albeit it was a little bit close, but they managed to get that victory. Slums is the best map when it comes to control for the side of CKG Legacy. They have won the matchup against C8 United. They have won that matchup against VVV ESPORTS, both of them at Slums. So this seems to be a potential great fight for CKG Legacy. And like I said, right, giving away standoff, giving away the search and destroy isn't going to be too much of an issue, mainly because this has been by far their worst game mode. They have had a terrible record at S&D so far. But guess what is the blessing in disguise here, guys? Standoff was the place where they actually won over C8 United in their last series. They won 7-6. So this is looking like Lady Luck as well as Blacklist International Ultimate smiling at CKG Legacy, giving them a potential 3-0 over them. And if CKG Legacy manages to do that, I don't think I'll have any more nails on my fingers here.
Okay, if y'all could see my notes before we started this round in this matchup series number 2, my guess for the best map of CKG Legacy is Raid Hardpoint, basically really good search and destroy in standoff and slums control. I'm freaking out because this is the best case scenario for CKG Legacy. And for Blacklist International Ultimate, they're sticking with Hacienda being banned because obviously they didn't really do so hot in Hardpoint up against VVV Esports, so they stuck to that. And now I am excited, ecstatic, absolutely breathless for this matchup.
And, for anyone who was wondering, why in the world did Blacklist International Ultimate allow Hacienda to be played in the matchup against VVV Esports? It's mainly because VVV has managed to thump down anyone and everyone they've met at firing range S&D. So Blacklist International Ultimate thought they were being smart. They banned firing range instead. But what do you know? VVV still managed to overcome them at that standoff S&D, which just makes VVV Esports that one stacked S&D team, right? They have dropped matches, but they have not dropped a single search and destroy. And I really wonder if or not C8 United can force them to drop that S&D later on, although I think that's going to be a little tough. What are your thoughts, Scally? Do you think, based on these map setup, that CKG Legacy would be able to take a 3-0 on Blacklist International Ultimate today?
Yeah, it's quite a stretch for me, but it's actually possible. This Raid Hardpoint right here will set the tone for CKG Legacy because this is where actually they perform the best. They are able to defeat VVV Esports not once, but twice.
Yes.
So that's going to be the main thing. Get Clayao ongoing here at this first game. And of course, this team just really needs to hope for the best, that they play for those trades.
Yeah. And I agree with everything that you said, except for one part. I don't want Clayao to get going. I just want Clayao to remain consistent. I want everybody else on the side of CKG Legacy to step up their plays this time round against the players of Blacklist International Ultimate. This is do or die, literally. You get it done, you have a potential shot at the playoffs. You fail here, there's nothing for you. And there's not just a single round that you need to win. There's not a single map that you need to win for CKG Legacy. They desperately need to win each and every single game because later on, VVV, they take on C8 United. And in this competition, unfortunately, Beef, C8 United hasn't been as hard-hitting as they have been in the past, unfortunately.
You're right, because I feel like what you said, everyone else needs to step it up. It's not just supposed to be
Yeah.
Clay Howe that can go and get it. There's a reason
Yeah.
why Blacklist International is so good, because every single one is like really, really good. Not only that, you got the Lowkings, you got Almighty, even VVV for some reason is able to get 3 points up against Blacklist International Ultimate. But
Yeah.
the best thing for them right now is obviously winning that coin toss. Not just that, trying to go in there for the momentum of, Blacklist International losing 2 maps into day number 8 and hoping that they can get that and use it to their advantage, and really just watch that broadcast and see where they lacked and take notes coming in from the side of VVV to try and take over 3 really crucial points for them to be able to fly on over. I want to see a team fly on over again, okay?
And the pick of Raid at Hardpoint just seems to be one that is going to be the most likely victory for the players of CKG Legacy. And this is not just because they have taken that win over VVV Esports already, but it's also because they managed to not do it once, but twice. They managed to beat VVV at Raid Hardpoint 2 times back to back. And where did we see Blacklist International Ultimate struggle? We saw them struggle against the players of VVV on that exact same map, on that exact same mode. VVV managed to get up to 237 points, and that match was just way too close. So this might not be the weakness of Blacklist International Ultimate, but very clearly they haven't been able to dominate this map, dominate this mode just yet. And based on those facts, Callie, what do you think the probability is here for CKG to rip away this first match?
That's quite a tough question to ask, AJ. But for me, it's going to be 30%, 70% for Blacklist International Ultimate. But then again, in order for them to increase the percentage of winning, they have to do what they did against VVV Esports. They have to time that score streak. They have to time that operators perfectly. And of course, they need to keep doing the flanks. That's what made them... But that's what made it possible for them to defeat VVV Esports on this raid hardpoint. So they just have to do what it takes for them to defeat Blacklist International Ultimate. And obviously, we did see a weakness from Blacklist International Ultimate on their last game back against VVV Esports on that hardpoint Hacienda. This team doesn't know when to move when they're getting flanked. So with the boys of CKG Legacy actually adept at playing the flanks, they could steal this first map away from Blacklist.
In the defense of Blacklist International Ultimate, they hate Hacienda, right? Once again, it was the worst decision of all to ban out firing range instead of Hacienda. I believe they would have stood a stronger chance to play at firing range. Either way, they still lost their SND, so I'm very sure they were upset with that pick themselves, because not only did they give away that SND to a team that was already going to win SND because they are one of the best. In fact, Kenshi's on their side. We know how hard Kenshi hits. The main reason as to why Blacklist International Ultimate themselves loaned the player for the world stage, right? But on top of that, allowing Hacienda to be played really was the worst thing that Blacklist International Ultimate could have done for themselves. And to your point as well, right? Those rotations were really soft. They weren't moving in time. But Raid is a map that they have played many a times. Raid is a map that they've dominated some teams on as well, but they have shown some signs of weakness. So as this series kicks off, Callie and Beef, the one thing I want to ask you is have a lot of fun, because it's most definitely going to be a cracker.
Oh, this is going to be a bloodshed, a bloodbath. We want to see terror rain down for the side of Blacklist International Ultimate and maybe even give CKG a hard time. But you know what? We want to see a response as well. And now we're finally starting things off here in Hardpoint Raid, where Blacklist International know it at the very back of their hand. But let's see what will happen. What is the response of CKG Legacy? Because so far, there is none yet.
None yet. Well-grounded offense right now for Blacklist on this hard point. But do take a look at this. Number 2 in Clay Howe gets that flank, gets the power position on that laundry, and now they're ready to go and take this hit. Tindo will survive one gunfight, but there's too many angles for him to defend. And right now needs to stay and survive for his team to reinforce. Tin, last player alive, and the contest is on for CKG. Great job by Clay Howe getting that laundries. Not only are they gonna have this final time on this first hard point, Beef Mammy, but they're also set up for that next. All they just have to do is win these gunfights.
That was such a fast P1. I feel like I just blinked and then now it's over. Now the rotation needs to pull through. BLACKLIST International went in there for the first rotation, so that's going to be a really good sign from them. And it's still pretty even because it's still early to tell who is actually going to win who and how are they going to change when it comes to the I feel like the consistency and the rhythm of the game here. Because if you guys didn't know, Hardpoint obviously is a rhythm-based game where you need to get it on, and especially it is 250 Hardpoint where you need to be consistent, and especially since it is going to be a longer Hardpoint game, you need to be absolutely perfect when it comes to the rotations and the kills, basically. And now for BLACKLIST International, you're getting a lot of these kills, but also you are being response right now. CKG LEGACY looking like they're really good when it comes to the gunfights.
Yeah, that gunfight is insane. And do note that this team is flooding that hard point. And not only that, they stormed the front and BLACKLIST had no response. 28-36 is going to be the score of the game, and Yato swings and he wings it, gets that 3 Ps, but 12 seconds left. That's going to be scrap time. Still great. They will get this lead, but they would need to get that rotation at this next hill. And you can see Jabin getting taken down. CKG on rotation. They're gonna have 2 players coming in from mid. They get this control at this driveway. They might have the opportunity to take this away from BLACKLIST International Ultimate. The hard points opens up as you're with that huge Hunter Killer drone. And now the push will come in towards Jim, but they will get cut off. But CKG, they will also have players reinforcing from the bottom of the map. So now they get the contest that they need.
Damn, Tin was the solo hold that BLACKLIST International just needed for that one push just to try and deny that early rotation coming in from CKG, but obviously it's all yellow inside here in the money hill. And now you can see Azure getting that one, tries to get one more. FDX goes down as well, so big 3-piece almost coming in from the side of, CKG, but from Jabin just absolutely denies that. Still a pretty solid hold coming in from CKG though. They're trying to go in for the rotation, early rotation. That's what I like to see, because you already know that BLACKLIST International is probably just going to give this away, and now they need to go and fight for P3 as well. I mean P4 rather, going up to the basketball court, and unfortunately FDX just a little bit too good when it comes to the Peacekeeper. And you know what, Callie? Really good effort what I'm seeing here from CKG so far.
Yeah, such a big plays from them back and forth. They have to do that time and time again in order to defeat this BLACKLIST International squad who has a lot of depth when it comes to that firepower. Every individual can just pop off from out of nowhere and just take you down. And for them, they need to silence it. Clayhouse gets that huge kill. CKG type gets that kill as well, following it up, looking to create that opener towards a basketball court. Currently, they're spawning at that Tiki. They could land a flood in at that staircase and get this kill, but FDX will stop them. Burns them with that purifier, and that's it. BLACKLIST International Ultimate, they have made the arraignment, they have adjusted, and now they are on the assault. They got that lead now in this game. CKG needs to back off, and look at the response here. Multiple angle push, 20 seconds left, still plenty of time here, Beef Mammy, and they get it eventually.
And even though we got to see FDX with the Purifier kill, a triple kill, just waiting there patiently, we got to see CKG just absolutely blaze through inside for the retake. But they need to worry about the next hard point though, because it's the most open, the hardest thing to go and defend because of how many entry points there's going to be. And now Tin going in there for the OBJ, obviously going in for early rotations as per usual, has been doing such a great job. And even though he's going to be the only one left in money and also here into P5, he's doing such an amazing job all on his own. And now Yato with the comeback as well, with the KSP, with the Dragonfire as well. That info is going to be key.
Yeah, BLACKLIST International Ultimate, they're in a perfect hold, and BLACKLIST Yato is getting warm. He has 23 kills, leading this lobby. In the first time they win an early rotation. Now it's the time for them to pull away even more. Right now, CKG is in scramble, and BLACKLIST is capitalizing on those plays. Beautiful timing with that gravity vortex, and it's been the score streaks and the operators factor for BLACKLIST in getting all of this hardpoint hold.
Tin has not died ever since he stepped on that hard point. He's just that good. And not just that, I mean, everyone else in this squad going in for the slay, obviously that's the reason why he's also still alive, but you get to see it. A really good play here, and now really solid OBG player. But you know what, for Clayhouse, having that 19, that's a really impressive point as well, but they need to go in there for the comeback, going into the reset finally here in P1. But with the Predator missile up in the air, Tin goes in for one, and that's the reason why it's important for Tin to stay alive, is to just gather all of those score streaks and really just not die.
Ethan is absolutely one of the key players for Blacklist International Ultimate, specifically here at this hardpoint. This guy absolutely tallied 3 minutes and 32 seconds in one game and scored the top frag. And I think that's against VVV Esports. But here for now, 126 to 103, Clayhow, 1v1 against your boy number 2, and that's going to be Jebin taken care of. CKG wins the gunfights. Clayhow looking to follow up one more. And dropping Yato, that's going to be a huge play for them. 25 seconds. And Blacklist International Ultimate will be early on rotation, moving in at the Tiki with Jabin being that player that will open things up for the team. Moving on to New. 13 seconds left, and CKG, they get bullied out on this next hardpoint rotation. This should be a money hill for Blacklist. Despite of that, Tin also has this access to one Goliath. This could be huge on this close quarter hardpoint right here, Beef Mammy.
Yeah, he needs to be stopped, and he's been farming that Goliath for such a long time. And this man is just, I want to see his KD because I have not seen him die ever since we started this game. And so, again, a really big help to have that X1 Goliath up in your bag. But then just like that, Clayhow tries to stop with the Purifier, obviously, bringing down the health just a little bit. They're not able to use this X1 Goliath just so much, but then finally gets that break, gets that kill. The only person left in Blacklist International here, but then obviously you get to see Azur finally taking him down. FDX and Skur trying to go in there for the kill as well, but then they're having such a hard time. Heavy utilization here coming in from the side of Blacklist International, doing a lot just to capture this and just to have a hold, but then we get to see CKG with the contest. Not only that, getting the scrap points as well, but you get to see it. Blacklist International Ultimate going in there for the early rotation in Money Hill.
Yeah, multi-angle is the name of the game for CKG in getting this final scrap time. And this scrap time at hardpoint number 2, but it's just pretty scrappy. Funny enough, though, you actually put the spawns both ways. So you have the boys of CKG fighting tooth to the nail to take away that time in P2. But in return, Blacklist International Ultimate, they will be rewarded with that early rotation. And this is not just a rotation here, Beef Family. This is a money hill. You get that perfect setup, you are guaranteed a lot of time in this point. 135 to 161, and Jabin is now making his presence felt. Gets that huge 2 kills, delaying the rotation made by CKG from that bedrooms. But Juno will get sucked in by that gravity vortex. The damage has been done. Blacklist, they are decreasing that time.
Tin yet again with the score streaks and also the operator skills. I mean, the timing of this man is just absolutely great. Gets a 2-piece for himself, denies the entrance coming in from the side of CKG, and now a really solid hold. That's the reason why it's the money hill. It's the money hill rather, because of how hard you can go inside. And now Jabin having that 25 Dragonfire and Fred missile already in his arsenal. They're getting almost a full 60 here with just a little bit of contest, and Azur tries to go in there for the scrap points, but no, gets denied as well by Tin yet again. But you can see over here, trying to go in there for the early rotation. CKG Legacy wants to end it here, and we've seen it before where Blacklist International actually went in there really early in the rotation, but CKG Legacy was able to break that.
And this is the problem for Blacklist International Ultimate. They have used all of their operator skills just to get a perfect hold on that garage. So now here this time, they're going to use that score streak. But looking at the flip side of the game, CKG, they got 5 operator skills available and ready for use. But this play and this score streak called in by the boy named Jabin is enough for this team to get that break, as that will be able to reveal the general location of CKG as they are defending and standing their ground towards this basketball court. Blacklist push in one side of the map. They get the break, but look at this. Scared is being annoying on the spawns, getting those spawn kills, and that's it. 187 to 185. We couldn't say that this game is not yet for Blacklist because CKG is putting up that really great fight.
Yeah, they're putting up a really good fight here. Clayhow, though, kind of potatoes his shots, taking a little bit too long to kill that one person in Throne. But you know what? Still valiant effort, as we get to see here. Blacklist International Ultimate getting some points here, but it's still too close for comfort for me to say who is going to win this game. And now for CKG Legacy, they have the upper hand now of the early rotation, but it's the question of how long can they sustain this? We're not quite sure, but they are winning their gunfights. All of the Slayers around need to do their job, which they are. DNA and Azur definitely getting those kills, bringing down Tin, and not just that, Jabin as well, type really big kills for him. And now they need to go and find a way, because Scared with the Purifier is definitely going to be really, really difficult here. As you can see here, finally, the retake finally pushes through, coming in from the side of Blacklist International. 45 seconds left on the clock, and they can definitely bring it down here, especially coming in for the cluster strike to go in there for the defense.
A great call there for CKG just to stop the momentum, and of course the hold by Blacklist in that mid-map. But looking at this game at the current state, you can see CKG. They got 4 players doing a great job on that gunfight, but we gotta see more from DNA. He's got 7 kills, and this team won't be winning if he doesn't step up. Everybody needs to play this game for real. 229 to 191. Blacklist International Ultimate. Great hold at this mid-map, but you can clearly see CKG. They are not yet done. They want to get this game. They want to make sure that they have the opportunity to win this first game. And of course, you see the boys, they have the power position. DNA will be holding his ground, but he needs to win these gunfights.
He does, because still, once you were talking about it, his life is still there. I mean, the kills are still at 7 with the RPD. May not be the best gun for him right now. Should probably go in for a, lighter, a better gun that you can ADS a little bit faster on. And so, again, it's all down to maybe your gun choices. Maybe that's the reason why, because everyone else, look at the team comp, look at the gun comp right now of Blacklist International, where he's getting a lot of kills. But hey, Skirt getting that beautiful double really just denies the entrance going in from the side of CKG Legacy. Not just that, goes in for the triple. So Skirt having that 30. Everyone else from Blacklist International is 30 and up. Really just the reason why they're winning this right now, 250 and 203, is because they're winning their gunfights. And you can't have just 7 kills if you're up against a team like this, Callie.
I see the scoreline of Blacklist International Ultimate. 40, 34, 30, 46, and
It's crazy. My
32. A lot of gunfights won by Blacklist International Ultimate. CKG, yes, they did a great job at providing a lot of pressure against Blacklist, but they lack one man here, Beef Mammy. And DNA having that 7 kills and also having 35 deaths, that's not gonna catch you some slack. A 0.2 KD. I don't know.
I mean, it's just all in the negatives. Everyone in CKG, all in the negatives. But there's you get to see the brilliance of Blacklist International. Obviously, Yato's going to be your MVP, the #1 Slayer. Not just that, also getting points there in the hardpoint, getting a lot of time. But one person that I really want to commend is Tin. His usage of the OBJ role, the fact that he can utilize all of his score streaks to go and defend it really well. And not just that, his operator skills, the gravity vortex, he uses it to perfection. And AJ, you've seen it. Tin has been absolutely massive in this matchup.
I want to talk about Tin, but more than Tin, I want to talk about DNA. He was brought in to sub out for High. And we all know that High has been struggling in those hardpoint matches. The guy gets about 7 average kills every time he hops on to a match. But guess what? DNA just happens to hit that crazy number of 7 kills as well. I do not know exactly what's happening to this team. It could just be that they have been cursed for their final fragger to just have 7 kills for each and every single match. But this is unfortunately unacceptable, right? It was a 5v4 in this matchup. And, with how Juno was struggling, that's still an acceptable performance out of Juno. He was still holding down to that, objective for a little bit. But DNA just could not find a way to step up his plays at all. And if you're not going to be able to engage, obviously you're not going to be able to shut down Blacklist International Ultimate. We did talk about how, though, the difference of KD average might just play a factor in this matchup, but this sort of a performance out of DNA was absolutely unexpected. 250 to 203, and even when they were just facing off against the Blacklist International Ultimate team with just 4 solid players on their side, this shows the quality of CKG. They could still push it all the way up to the 200-point mark, but overall, you are going to be outnumbered, and that's exactly what happened here, right? And when you've got people like Yato and FTX hitting those 40s already, whereas the rest of your team members are struggling with those engagements, obviously all of these hard points are not going to go your way. It started off really hot, even down to the halfway point it was hot, and then from then on, it just kind of fell off flat. We don't know exactly what was the reasoning of DNA not being able to perform in this matchup, but whatever it is, they need to find a fix. And I don't know if or not today is enough of time for them to find something to bring in to this matchup a little bit differently, right? First opportunity, they brought us into a map that should have gone their way. And if only DNA could have provided a little bit more, I feel like Blacklist International Ultimate could have been thumped out in this match. But they've lost one important opportunity here already, Beef, and into standoff SND. Now, SND isn't really the best mode for the players of CKG Legacy. Out of 5 matches played so far, they have lost 4. The only match that they have won has been on standoff. And that one was a super close call matchup against C8 United, where they brought it all the way into the round 13 and won it 7-6. Cali, based on that, there is a potential here for them to rip this off. But once again, you're talking about the players of Blacklist International Ultimate, and at SNDs, those kills and those deaths really, really count. I mean, it's like slums, but just so much more worse. You've got just, 5 lives per round. And I don't know if or not CKG has got the quality to take this all the way, unless they can play this handicapped all the way, man.
Well, for me, CKG Legacy, they just need to see one more output from DNA. They need him to step up in this coming game at Stand Up, Search, and Destroy, because on that raid hardpoint, they had 4 players doing a great job at winning those gunfights, and they came up close. If they can bring DNA to play well here at Standoff, they might have a chance. But I don't know, though, because Blacklist Ultimate, yes, they did lose this Stand-Up Search and Destroy map against VVV Esports, but this team has a lot of firepower. This team is depth with a lot of players, individuals that can just win your gunfights. And speaking of, Jabin can create those openers. Yato can give you those big blows. And you don't want these guys to play very, very well if you're CKG Legacy, because if you give them the opportunity, then this is going to be a map win for them. But again, the case still stands. CKG Legacy could still win this if they will play as a team, AJ, and they should win those gunfights, especially when every life counts in this game mode.
I can't agree more, right? When you look at Blacklist International Ultimate, for me, personal MVP when it comes to some of these S&D matches, it's most definitely going to be Skirt. He has managed to step up for the team time and time again. And in fact, he is the one with the best KD average on S&D so far for the side of Blacklist, holding on to a 1.74 KD average record. He is leading the team with an example. But AG as well, he usually steps up for the team. So, no matter what CKG Legacy does after this, they have to take on 2 Titans. But this is where I expect Juno to shine. But without further ado, take this match away. Ali.
And here we go. Finally, this is gonna be do or die because they just need to win it. CKG Legacy, obviously that hardpoint, they have really great moments, but DNA, there you go. DNA having that really big kill, not just that, a double kill. There you go. DNA actually listening to the broadcast, and there you go. Finally getting it. 2v2 right now here, Cali, and now that was really insane.
Even AJ gets hyped in that play from DNA. But hey,
AJ,
we're going to continue.
why are you not muted?
This game is still serious for CKG Legacy. They still could get this win. But for Blacklist International Ultimate, 2 players left, Skirt and AG, not the guys that you would want to be left out in this game, especially Skirt. As AJ previously mentioned, this guy is that playmaker. He gets the job done, he delivers, and follows up with a lot of good kills. And here comes the first contest. Azure gets 1, Scared gets 1, gets 2, and that's what we're talking about. Scared, key player for Blacklist International Ultimate, rightly delivers in this first round, Beef Mammy.
That should have been a free kill from Type. Was it Type the last person from CKG to go down? Because I was just looking at Skirt the whole time. It's like, no way he can get that 2-piece. Knowing very well that CKG had the high ground as well. They had Peeker's advantage, for goodness sake. But you know what? It's still a pretty good job. They were able to, bring things down into a 2. And there you go. Azure goes down as he is greeted by 3 members of Blacklist International. Overextends just a little bit. No stun check, no nade check whatsoever. You need to check it because Blacklist International will definitely, slap you right in the bum for that mistake.
Oh, and here it goes. Jabin going in for the push. He takes the final player in Clayhow, and we are going to see Blacklist Ultimate just do Blacklist Ultimate things. They went up there aggressively, get that first blood, and they initiate their strat right off immediately once they get that first kill. And if you're CKG, you gotta take care a lot more, especially in these early games where Blacklist could just swarm and overwhelm you once they got that opening kills. And for now, Blacklist going in aggressive, planning that bomb at A. Clayhow gets that first blood. That's what this team needs, and that's what they get.
Oh, sees the head of Yato. Tries to go in there for the scope, but then Yato spots him out as well, and there you go. That is the price you pay for trying to go and peek twice, and now not just that though. Juno and DNA getting that beautiful 2-piece. But then Skirt gets rid of Juno and Type. They're just gonna do such a great job here. CKG Legacy, DNA just leading the pack, and it just seems like maybe respawns are not his game mode, and looks like S&D is a little bit more of his finesse, a little bit. But you know what? I feel like, let's go into that conversation later on, because I feel like this guy, he is mad because of that respawn game mode that we had here in Raid Hardpoint. He wants to make a difference. He wants to prove us wrong. And now, going into really deep, really aggressively, going in from the side of BLACKLIST International. They're trying to go in there for Statue. Then obviously the bomb is going to be going in there. Not quite sure if that's the best job to do, because as the bomb holder, you need to be a little bit more careful, but he is going to be that entry. Skirt, though, gets that kill, gets that, really good reset. And now we are at a 3v2 situation in the favor of BLACKLIST International.
Now the little bomb is about to get planted. Still, though, there is time for this two player from CKG to clutch it up, but the problem here, they are both wielding that scope. And that scope is only going to be very viable in that long-range engagements. Not sure, though, if they could get a landing blow here and take Yato down on these tractors, but anything's still possible. Playhouse spots that player, gets that information that should be relayed. 30 seconds, still plenty of time for them to work. Type gets that retribution, drops Jabin, and now we are equal. Now the push comes along, but it's going to be Yato waiting for that great opportunity. He lines them up, but he gets cooked, and that break is going to be possible with that two-man play, but that Elcar looking deadly. They get the defuse.
Oh, that was a beautiful bait and switch by Type and Clay Howe. We don't really get to see it that often from this team, or even that often in Search and Destroy in general. We get to see it in the big leagues of Call of Duty, not just in mobile though. So I'm really glad to see that they have strategies in play like that, where you get to bait your teammate just a little bit, but when he goes into the side, that's when you get to see, oh, hello, we have another teammate right there. But there you go, let's get to see. They are finally even down on the points. We've seen this time and time again, and hopefully they get to sustain it.
All right, the game is going to continue. We are in round number 5. Same thing is going to happen here for both of these squads. BLACKLIST planting that bomb very aggressively. And as you're here this time, changing up the narrative, getting that first blood. And this is what this team needs. But Yato delivers one, looking to deliver another multi-angle push made by CKG. Won't completely work this yet. But Jabin, he extends too much. He gets taken down. 28 seconds, and AG going to extend. He's gonna get one. And for Yato, he's got the head glitch advantage. Scared on the flank, gets it. That's going to be quite a very great engagement for both ends. But at the end of the day, BLACKLIST Ultimate rating down Supreme. They get round number 5.
Oh, beautiful pitch coming in from BLACKLIST International Ultimate, not wanting to, create the same mistake that they made the last round. And now again, they're trying to go in for the stun check, the nade check, trying to see if there's going to be anyone in the pocket there at A. Tries to get that info. Gets it, though. And there you go. But then they do get retaliation as well coming in from the side of CKG. And now Yato gets one, gets rid of Type. And that is going to be a really big kill, because they are finally even down on the body count right now, 4 and 4. But DNA applies that pressure. Yato, though, is going to be a really tricky spot here. Really tricky as Jabin goes in for the slide, as Type didn't really get to see one more person there. Jabin needs to worry about one more person. There you go. Takes him down. Juno as well. It's back and forth that we really like to see here. And Jabin just really applying that pressure, really being a good assist for his team. But unfortunately for them, also gets the pinch. And Clayhow gets that information that he is there. And now we are at a 3 and 3. And everything is happening so fast. There is no passive play here from both of these teams.
Yeah, great adjustments, though, they're made by CKG Legacy. As soon as BLACKLIST International hit the turn on that A bomb site, they were fast to go for that quick retake. They hit that tanks, they hit that mid statue, and that was more than enough to get BLACKLIST off guarded. And part of the reason why CKG is actually hanging in there is because DNA is absolutely getting involved in the gunfights. That we didn't see from him at this hard point number 1, but Clayhow, huge timing, gets that perfectly. He gets that 2 Ps. BLACKLIST down by 2 players, but hey, they can still clutch it. But there's too many angles that they need to hold, because right now, it's going to be the CKG show, but Scared suddenly shows up, gets the huge 2 kills. FDX follows with that scope. Now we got a 2v2 here, Beef Mammy.
CKG needs to slow things down, because they had already the advantage of, having more lives compared to BLACKLIST International. But not just that, the bomb is down. So they need to play around the fact that they need to go grab the bomb. But for BLACKLIST International, they don't know where it is. They didn't have that information yet, and finally gets picked up. Very open, though. That's going to be really bit tricky, because Juno having that bomb wide open. But finally, it's a good thing that his teammate is right there, but then almost getting stopped by Skrr. The information pulls through, denies the plant, but they still have a lot of time to work with. 44 seconds left on the clock, and there's no time to go in for the rotate. They need to go in for the engagement, and Skrr just applying that pressure, playing for time, and FDX with a really big sniper kill takes out Juno, and just like that, they turn things around with a 1v2 situation, and FDX again finishes the job, looking very lethal with that sniper, and they just took too long, and it was a little bit too much of a predictable situation that CKG just put themselves in. They need to slow things down here, Callie.
Yeah, they adjusted and overextended as soon as they had that 5v2 situation again. Clutch plays back-to-back from FDX. And of course, this team just landed a 2v5 Beef Mammy. They took 2 players down, follows up with FDX Sniper, and of course gets that final 2 kills on that round number 7. But CKG, they are in it to win it, looking to go and extend, flanking. This time around, this is going to be very devastating. If number 3 Juno could get that perfect timing and get these 2 kills on the tanks, that should cut them off some slack. And there it goes. He wins that gunfight. Now they only have to worry about FDX, which will be wielding that sniper. And you don't want this guy to get 1, because as soon as he gets 1, he's going to follow up with that 2nd and absolutely could get that 3rd.
They need to close this space, and he's at a perfect advantage to try and take 1. There you go. Speaking of 1, gets Clayhow, but then the bomb is going to be planted. And now for him, the best thing he can do is just to isolate, and isolate they are. They are going out there 1 by 1 as an individual, which is not the best case here. They need to stick together, because if 1 goes down, it's very possible that FDX can go clutch this up yet again. And now he has a perfect position to go in. Spots 1. Is he going to get it? Doesn't quite get it as Juno gets the snipe, and FDX finally gets shuts down. And now this is what we see here. CKG Legacy doing an amazing job at the response here up against BLACKLIST International.
They quickly readjusted there. And you obviously see that CKG was well composed that time around. They slow it down. They were able to push individually, spread out in the map just to make sure they find a lot of information. And since they took that round, it means that we have a tie game. 4-4 on this score. And BLACKLIST off to a very aggressive start here. They put Jabin on that mid-map, but Juno's gonna spot Yato down, looking for that trade. AG though wins that huge gunfight, but Clayel gets the trade. But Azure swings and he wins that 2 kills. And that's going to be it. BLACKLIST down to their final 2 players, but they make up for it. Scared. Definitely one of the most deadly players out there in the map right now. 14 kills, looking to make it 15. There it is. Round number 9. Ending in an instant. BLACKLIST International Ultimate with Scared. Just very deadly.
So deadly that round, and BLACKLIST International, even though yes they were also at a man disadvantage, it doesn't really matter because they know how to readjust, they know how to slow things down. And that's one thing that we really need to see for the side of CKG, that if they have the advantage, you can just slow things down, because yes, they do have the bomb and they do dictate the pace, and that's why they don't need to overextend. FDX tries to go in there for 1 more shot into back alley, doesn't really quite get anything though. Backs away with Javen for their life, tries to go in there for the pre-shot. Skrr though gets that opening kill, gets rid of Juno, an essential player that has been getting a lot of the first bloods here recently, alongside, I think that was Dia. No, that was Azure. Azure always gets that first opening pick, and yes, he has the most kills right now from his team, and he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with here in back alley.
And he still stands there, holding his yarn at the gas station, looking for more gas as he takes Jabin down. Great timing. Of course, they do have to worry about 4 players, and this guy is going to be back against the wall. 4 players to worry about. FDX, first one in line. He will not win that gunfight. And that's going to be BLACKLIST International Ultimate getting these kills. And you know what? CKG Legacy, they've been playing fair and square. They've been playing head-to-head against BLACKLIST International Ultimate, but now they're starting to lose their composure. BLACKLIST International has the biggest lead yet in this match, but good stun check made there by Azure. Again, gets that early pick. This guy really has a knack on getting this first blood, and that's needed by CKG Legacy. They get the bomb plant here. They will force BLACKLIST for that retake.
And now match point onto the side of BLACKLIST International, so that's one thing they can play with. But like what we saw a while ago, we've seen it already in our series number 1 where we got to see an advantage, but they weren't able to close things out. But Yato having a really good position. Not just that, nade checks, stun checks, and definitely going to be checking out a lot of the players here, but that doesn't really quite get anything. DNA, Clayhow, and Juno. And there you go. Shuts things down and almost even things out. Are we going to see a round number 13 here? It's very possible what we've seen here so far from CKG Legacy. They've been doing so great here, and now they slowed things down. They didn't have to overpush. They didn't have to overcommit into a site. All they just had to do was hold. And now let's see what will happen here. CKG Legacy going in for a different approach, going in from Granny's house instead. And now a really, passive approach coming in from Blacklist, because they know that if they overextend, they might commit the same mistake into the previous round.
Yeah, great adjustment made here by Blacklist International Ultimate. And they're looking to stay and maintain that way. Getting that first kill, Yato gets Clayhow, and this is going to be dangerous. CKG lost that first blood, and you know what happens when they lost a first blood? They lose composure! Yato with that collateral!
Give him the ace! Give him the ace!
Goodness. This
the
man
ace.
just made sure CKG's chance of winning dwindled down. Skirt follows up, dropping Juno. All down to type FDX with the scope. That's G freaking G. 5-7. Blacklist International Ultimate. Badly needed that sniper plays from Yato and FDX, and they wing it. There it is. 2-0, Beef Mammy.
Yato with a beautiful collat just to end things out with a bang with fireworks. Absolutely amazing stuff. And Yato being the only one in his team that's actually not with them in person. That is just crazy what this man can do. Not only is he really good at the respawns, but it just seems like he's so good at the sniper as well. But again, really great effort coming in from the side of CKG, because we saw such great moments there, especially with Azure having those really big opening picks. It's just they can't sustain. They for some reason cannot sustain that advantage that they have of having the numbers and allowing Blacklist International to just separate them one by isolating them and finally getting those wins. But AJ, this isn't as big of a lead as what we thought Blacklist International could give us.
Unfortunately, it doesn't matter whether or not the players of CKG got super close, right? Because at the end of the day, they desperately needed this victory, and with this loss, it is confirmed that they do not make it through to the playoffs. VVV Esports, on the other hand, most definitely do. But Skirt hitting that 4.5 KD average in this SND match is just absolutely insane. We were hyping him up just before that match started, and he just delivers consistently game after game after game. It's insane how he can bring such supreme plays so consistently out there onto the battlefield. But the highlight play for me was DNA. Redeeming himself with that opening god nade out of nowhere in that very first round. The guy caught me a little off guard, right? I was just handing it over to you guys, and then boom, out of nowhere. But, although there was, some moments of life from the side of CKG Legacy, they don't go the distance. And unfortunately, they also do not get to go to Resorts World Manila as competing players. But of course, as visitors, as the regular audience, they most definitely will be able to join us. And I hope to see the players of CKG Legacy at Resorts World Manila. Most definitely. I feel like, valiant effort from their side, but just moments of weakness overall from individual players kind of compounded and led them to this defeat, right? 5-7 is a good number. At least they don't get thrashed, but it wasn't enough to push them over the edge and allow them to, at the very least, compete with VVV for that tiebreaker. And, even that, it depended on the players of C8 United winning over the players of VVV Esports 3-0, which was probably going to be impossible from the get-go. So CKG Legacy were fighting a losing battle from the start. But they can still salvage a little bit of respect for themselves here, Beef. Slums Control. It might have not been their best map so far, but if there's one thing we do know, that they have managed to prove themselves at Slums Control against VVV and C8 United back-to-back now. And I feel like they might just be able to go the distance. Callie, your thoughts on this final matchup?
Now, this could be either a solid victory for CKG Legacy through a close battle, or it's going to be a rundown with Blacklist Ultimate here at this Slums Control. Although this is going to be a map pick by CKG Legacy. Actually, Blacklist Ultimate played this map already and they were able to win. And it was FTX who eventually run the show here for Blacklist Ultimate. But then again, love the gunfights, love the team play that I'm seeing from CKG Legacy. They can stand on this one, AJ.
Well, without further ado, guys, please take this match away. And CKG Legacy, good luck.
Well, it has been a great season here so far for Garena Masters 3, and definitely CKG, we are looking at you. We are definitely saluting you because you have brought a great fight into this tournament, and hopefully we get to see you new and improved into the next match of it. And there you go. Let's start things off. A beautiful big kill from Skurd, and now from CKG. They need to make a response here. Control Slums. They've already won it twice, but they did lose this hard point matchup up against Blacklist International. So you already know that Blacklist really loves this map, but obviously it's going to be really hard because Blacklist International also performs really well here.
45 seconds already set and done your beef, Mammy, and you see 15 or specifically 14 life count already out for CKG. Not really an efficient play for them. It's gonna be very tough moving it along, and they are losing these battles every now and then. And Blacklist International Ultimate, now they are getting comfortable, now they are getting confident, and they are initiating these spawn kills, which CKG for some odd reason has a trouble in getting out of. But finally, DNA gets that huge 2 kills, open things up for the team, and now they get to apply pressure and get the segment in towards B. But the damage has been done. Blacklist has a lot of lead, great margin on that life count.
And now the life count really just dwindling in for the side of CKG. They need to really fix this. They're trying to go in for that Bravo push, but then doesn't really quite get it, as 14 already for the side of Blacklist International versus the 5. The mere 5 lives left here coming from CKG. Now they need to go and readjust. I know their spirits are probably down, but you know what? Just make it as if you were gonna buy a plane ticket going all the way from Manila. But hey, you can't blame these guys. They really fought so much, but then Blacklist International just a little bit too good here. And finally, we get to see one more point coming in from BLK themselves. And let's see if CKG can really break the code here into our round number 2 for Search.
This is going to be tough for them. You know, Blacklist International, great defensive round, and now they're going offensive here this time. CKG needs to stand, and they need to stand. Double their efforts, basically, because the team that they're going up against with definitely has the momentum. But before all that, you know, they gotta make sure they slow it down, and that's what they're definitely trying to do. They put 3 players towards A, 1 player guarding mid, and 1 player guarding that broken wall, and that should be more than enough. But Tiato creates and deals that first opening. Needs to check the corner. Leon's on the right side. He gets taken down there. Great play and adjustment created by CKG. Definitely standing their ground towards this A control point, but that B is getting controlled right now by Blacklist. They got 2 segments in there already, and they're looking to make sure they move fast because they're coming to get this A.
And now they need to go in for that alpha push. And now finally, Bravo is going to be captured. And that's going to be very difficult because that leaves just 1 more point. We've seen it time and time again is to like leave Bravo alone, let their opponent take it, and have a really solid defense coming in from Alpha. And now that seems like it's the case for CKG. They want to go in there for the really solid defense though. But obviously for Blacklist International, they're going into position. But it's going to be really hard as Juno finally goes in there for the takedown. But then Tin goes in there for the response. 3 members already trying to flush through slowly, inch by inch, winning all of their gunfights. That is just a really good retake coming in from the side of Blacklist, trying to go in there for Alpha. Not just that, they also have lives in their favor as well.
And the rhythm threw off CKG's defense there. As you can see, Blacklist, they really showed slowed offense. Just make sure that they pick 1 player at a time, and when they pick 1, they get the second and slowly advance. And here comes a Prad missile, drops that 2 kills. Huge play for Yato. He still got his Purifier working, and it's clearly lurking. CKG, they are back against the wall, and you see Blacklist International Ultimate making their reinforcements felt from the mid-map. It's going to be Thin, very huge here as he gets the flank. Could get this landing blow once, not twice, but looking to get it thrice. And there it is, conversion done by Thin. Gets the spawn kills as well. This guy is a monster. He's going in for those kills, and he is not looking to stop in any way possible.
And now it's just really, you know, applying salt to the wound already for CKG because they are being absolutely dominated here in control, having that 17 lives for Blacklist International with a mere 4 left for CKG. We haven't seen this much of an advantage in such a long time. And now for CKG Legacy, they need to, you know, just pick things up, pick the pace up. You need to go in for the denial. You already saw that they had really good intentions where they left B open just so they can go and defend A really well. But unfortunately for them, just allowed a really open, you know, entrance for them to go and take, especially Tin with that really big 3-piece. Not even that. I think he had 4 kills already in that name. So not just that, 13 kills versus 2 lives left. Even though they have 40 seconds left on the clock and just like 1/3 away from getting that alpha flag, it's still very difficult because you can see the backstab coming in from Blacklist International already closing out our second round as we're finally approaching our possibly last and final round here in Slums Control.
Yeah, tempo and gunfight was the name of the game there for Blacklist International Ultimate. They went in fast, get that B flag, and when they had the opportunity to capture the full segment, they went at A. They did not play it fast. They played it slow and wait for CKG to extend their players. But before all that, shout out to Wasabi Gaming. But hey, let's continue. We're going to the pace of this game where Blacklist only needs one more win and they will get the sweep. CKG needs to find the way to not let that happen, but the damage has been done. Scared gets that kill on that kill feed, dropping Azure. FDX follows up with Clayhow, and the gunfights are just too strong here right now for Blacklist, Beef Mammy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole game, and especially in the respawns, they are just outgunned every time. CKG Legacy. I feel like it could be also the gun choices as well, maybe. I'm not quite sure. I feel like for DNA in that hardpoint, not having a really fast gun to ADS in, maybe that was one of their faults. But going in here for the control, they already have a really solid lineup with the kills, but it's just really not enough for them to just go up against the gun skills and the individual gun skills of Blacklist International. And now you get to see it, 23 and 15. It's dwindling really fast, the life of CKG.
And, you know, things need to change here. We need to see an adjustment. But Azure lands this Purifier, gets the perfect timing against 2 players, and that opened up the B flag. But still, the life battle still in favor for Blacklist. But with Azure extending out, this could get them a couple of more kills just to lower down that live count. But Blacklist responds with even more kills, and that really stings a lot for the odds of the win here for CKG. Now, it's time for Jabin to bring out his own Purifier as well, and then getting his operator skill loaded, and that Gravity Vortex will take one as well. This should be a round win for Blacklist International Ultimate. But you know what, Beef Mammy? CKG, this is their first appearance, but they clearly did a lot of impression here.
Yeah, they had really good impressions, especially in their first matchup. But GG, well played. Blacklist International ends things with a beautiful sweep here. And it looks like 3-0s all across the board. I might just have to bring out my duster, my sweeper, my walis yet again. I'm ready for it. You know, if we're going to have another clean sweep later, then maybe we'll get to see it and something special later on. But anyway, Blacklist International just really solid here so far. And yes, maybe that S&D was a little bit shaky. You already know they're not really super good at S&D. Yes, they're okay, but up against VVV, maybe up against like other teams as well, maybe they're a little bit better. But you know what? Valiant effort for CKG to try and go the distance, to try and keep everyone's breaths just holding right well here. But CKG, valiant effort yet again. We keep saying it because they have shown us such a great effort here, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. And, you know, through all of those KD average comparisons that we have taken earlier on, it wasn't going to go the way of the players of CKG. That one we knew for sure. But it was also going against the odds here because the players of Blacklist International Ultimate has never dropped a single control map ever since they hopped into the group stage, right? They beat C8 United, they beat VVV Esports. Both of these teams got beaten twice around, and they also managed to dominate CKG Legacy 3-0. Things weren't going to change this time around because of their superior mastery over control, which is something that a lot of teams have been struggling with. You know, that just shows the kind of quality that Blacklist International Ultimate hops into the competition with, right? And CKG Legacy, on the other hand, they were just failing all of their gunfights. I mean, just look at the numbers here. Type hitting that 8, but even without comparing his numbers, even if you compare their top kill, Clayhow, 13 kills, 18 deaths overall, as opposed to, you know, the lowest fragger on the side of Blacklist International Ultimate, and that's Jabin. He gets 13 kills as well. But look at the number of times he gives away his deaths. That sort of comparison is exactly what you really have to pay attention to. And CKG, I would have loved to see exactly how they were playing defensive towards those final moments in round 2, I believe, where they were on the defense at that A side a little bit more throughout the whole matchup. If they had been that careful, I don't know if or not the results could have been different, they might have still lost this matchup, but I feel like it could have been so much more closer, right? They rushed out a little bit too fast. They tried to dominate the match a little bit too fast. And I feel like that was clearly the wrong idea here, because there's no way in hell you're going to be able to dominate Blacklist International Ultimate in a game of control. They should have been a little bit more careful. But that being said, we understand that they might have been heartbroken because of the unfortunate loss that they took at that SND. In SND, we saw them put their hearts and souls into that matchup. At Slums, on the other hand, the team had clearly given up. There was no fight left in them because they knew moving on to the playoffs was just not possible anymore. So, at that aspect, I guess I understand exactly where they're coming from. But I do agree with you. Valiant effort from the side of CKG Legacy. But you're the analyst for this matchup here, Callie. What do you think the players of CKG perhaps could have done a little bit differently apart from taking it slower?
Well, for me, it's the gunfights. It clearly gave them a really hard time, especially going up against Blacklist, where this team has a lineup of death. You got Scared, you got Yato, you got Tin, just clearly doing the wonders, entering every angle and scoring all of these kills, especially on this Slums control. But for CKG Legacy, they know when to play in the pace and they know when to execute their strategies. It's just that they like refinement as well. Maybe, who knows, the next time they are going to be around for Garena Masters, they might surprise us, because this team has shown a lot of promise, AJ.
Yeah.
They could be one of the deadlier teams coming from that MYSG squads.
Yeah, and I hope to see them step it up in the next time round, where we do see the players of CKG Legacy hop on in once again, right? And, in terms of quality out there on the battlefield, I feel like they just haven't been able to sharpen up their gunfights just yet. And all of those engagements overall were a little bit soft. Initially at the hardpoint matchup, we saw a lot of fight in them, but that was only towards the first half of the matchup. Once Blacklist International Ultimate got a little bit of momentum on their side, CKG Legacy, they lost their fire. They lost any bit of momentum they were building up in that initial half. And that's exactly what's disappointing about this team, right? Because, clearly from that first half, you saw that they could get the job done. But towards the second half, they didn't just bring in that fight. In fact, they weren't really doing a lot of those rotations as solid as they were executing it in the first half of that matchup, which was a little bit of a unfortunate turn of events, if you ask me, Reef.
And yeah, I feel like they had such a good momentum coming in from the first half, but just one person stops them all the time. And that person is basically Tin, that tries to go in there for the OBJ. He's a one-person solo hold going in from not just Money Hill, the Money Hill that we have here, that's P3. We also have a really solid hold for him coming in from P5, where he just solo holds. And not just that, it's the usage of his score streaks. Not only is he very gifted mechanically, right? And everyone in Blacklist International is the same thing, but the timing of the score streaks and the operator skills is just absolutely prime from him, for him to just solo hold and defend really solidly into the hard point. But again, Search and Destroy is a very different message, though, because CKG, this is where they brought fire.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, they brought that fire, and everybody did. We saw a little bit of a disappointing run from DNA, but it wasn't the same case in this SND, where he was stepping up for the team. He was taking those slays. And the one guy that I did expect to step up, Juno, unfortunately, just had a terrible SND matchup. Whatever could go wrong for the side of CKG was going wrong in both that hardpoint as well as SND. And Control was just a throw match, right? You really couldn't see the fight in them anymore. You couldn't see, any bit of confidence on the side of CKG. They were just dropping numbers one after the other. And that's something you cannot afford on Slums. That's something you cannot afford on Control at all. It is a game of numbers at the end of the day. And by the time we got towards the end of that first round, CKG really didn't look like they had any life in them. And this is that second round where I was talking about, right? That hold on that A flag was just so solid for the side of CKG towards the finishing moment of the game. And the amount of respect that Blacklist International Ultimate showed them was quite impressive. Although they had a 12 life advantage, they weren't rushing in to get all of those kills. They were playing it as slow as possible, and only for the players of CKG to later get spawn trapped and dominated in that third round. I mean, overall, it was an ultimate performance out of Blacklist International Ultimate. And who else but the one and only Yato to get the Soldier of the Game title? Overall, in the competition, 1.77 KD average, which is pretty much insane, Gally.
Oh yeah, this is what you pay him to do. He always gets that perfect timing. He always lands to needed kills. And for him to average 26 kills with a 1.77 KDA, you clearly know that he wins a lot more gunfight compared to the rest. And not only that, this player is the main reason why this team can always open up and get the points in the hard point, secure rounds in that search and destroy, and of course, control the spawns on that control slums earlier. Man, this guy's been perfect and he's going to stay like this until that playoffs.
Yeah, and I feel like not only will he stay this way, but at the playoffs is exactly where I expect the level of gameplay to be taken up to a whole new level, right? It's either you make or break. It's either that LAN tournament makes you so nervous that you start making multiple mistakes, or the energy that you feel within the stadium in itself just allows you to perform at a whole other level. And if Yato was already this solid all the way up till now, I wonder what sort of plays we will see from him at Resorts World Manila. We're going to take a quick short break, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You keep that question in your head and figure it out. And hopefully you will be there at Resorts World Manila to see exactly how Yato and team performs. But for the time being, we have got one final show match on our hands as VVV Esports hops into battle with the C8 brand once again. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of news today and expect a chance of anti-MSLs. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of news today and expect a chance of anti-MSLs. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile to the skies. ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of news today and expect the chance of anti-air missiles. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy the new season of Call of Duty Mobile. To the skies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying Call of Duty Mobile Airlines. Beware of enemy fighter jets. We got a lot of news today and expect the chance of anti-air missiles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Call of Duty Mobile Garena Masters Season 3, the final day of the group stage, and we are now at the verge of watching a show match. Unfortunately for C8, they won't be able to make it through to the playoffs, and VVV has already been guaranteed a spot since CKG couldn't pull off what was impossible from the very get-go. A 3-0 over BLACKLIST International Ultimate. We expected it, but at the very same time, we had a little bit of hope. My heart goes out to the whole of the CKG team, especially DNA, who clearly seemed to struggle in that matchup. A little bit of hate for DNA in the comment section as well, but I do agree with Wasabi, right? A majority of the players, or majority of the viewers who are being very, very hard on him with the words, barely would be able to make it up to this point. On that note, my name is AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with Beef Mommy as well as Cali Gaming. They're bringing you guys all of the hype and all of the action from the day, whereas I'm chilling. I am sitting back, enjoying all of the matches, hoping and praying that, we see some sort of miracle. But maybe that miracle now, Cali, can be with C8 United. Maybe now they can prove themselves before, respectively bowing out of the group stage.
Yeah, we expected C8 United to be absolutely one of the team to actually advance to that playoffs, but they hit player changes, and that really struck a huge blow on their win rate percentages. But they still stand a chance, of course, to exit out or even play this game perfectly. But they're going up against VVV ESPORTS here, AJ, and it's kind of a 50-50 for me, but the advantages are still in the side of VVV ESPORTS.
Yeah, let's talk about those advantages, right, Beef? Because VVV has struggled, and this is surprising. They have struggled when it comes to hardpoint. Out of the 5 matches so far, they have lost 4 hardpoint games. And the only one where they have managed to actually win was against BLACKLIST International Ultimate. So the probability of C8 United beating them at hardpoint still actually is there, right? So C8 United might be able to make a comeback, but the one place, or I have to say 2 places where C8 United have truly struggled has been at SND and Slums. Slums more than SND because they have not won a single matchup. Sorry, not Slums. Control. They have not won a single matchup at Control so far, except for that one SND matchup only, which just puts them at quite a unfortunate position overall within this group. But looking at the schedule, today has been a day of donuts. 3-0 served up by WPM Lowkings, as well as BLACKLIST International Ultimate to their opponents Sector 0 and CKG Legacy. A potential another 3-0 perhaps here, Beef, but this time from C8 United, the possibility of that map.
I mean, it just really changes your perspective on things. Now that you don't have the pressure of being into the LAN tournament, and maybe you see a different team here, because being in a competition as a player, as a team, that is so much pressure on you to go and perform, knowing that thousands are watching. So if a player doesn't really do well, don't really give them too much of a backlash, because they're here for a reason. They reached this point to a reason, and for C8 United, they reached here, and even though yes, they only have 4 wins and 11 losses, it doesn't really matter. They were able to bag wins and really just maps up against VVV Esports. And that is a really great thing. And now the question is, right, is VVV Esports going to take this seriously as well, knowing that it is going to be a show match? And the answer is definitely yes. Both of these teams respect each other to the point where it doesn't really matter if C8 United is not going to make it there.
So now it's the players of C8 United not only fighting against VVV Esports, but they're also fighting against their own record in the competition, Gally. Once again, they haven't been able to win a single match at Control. And out of the 5 games at Search and Destroy, only 1 game they have managed to win in most dominant fashion, I have to say. 7-1 at Raid against CKG Legacy. Your thoughts on their performance at Control overall and, some of their weak points? Because we've seen them go the distance against CKG Legacy. And surprisingly, the only other time was against the one and only Blacklist International Ultimate on that very first day, where they did take a 3-0 loss, but they went all the way into a game number 5, Cali.
Well, I think for me, for the boys of C8 United, it's all about playing as a team, playing for those trades, and of course, just executing their strategies. They had the ideation, but they really lacked that execution. And that gunfight is something that they need to work on. Yes, they were able to tap it against CKG Legacy, and that was that's the only win that they had on Search and Destroy, and of course, overall in the game mode itself. And honestly, for me, for C8 United, it's all about adjustments, especially in that mid game where they have to face situations where they might have those 3v3s, those 1v1s. They just really have to play as a team and execute their plays and strategies better compared to the games that they had before.
But when you take on a team with Owen, Chroma, Mac, Kenshi, Yaku, as well as Ace-Key, not only does it get tough, but you also find it very difficult to play when your hands are shaking. You need to fear the legacy that VVV has brought into the competition so far and from the competitions of the past, especially when you're taking on a player like Kenshi on the opposing team. A huge reason as to why the VVV brand has been able to dominate each and every single one of their S&D matches, even against Blacklist International Ultimate here, Beef.
I know. I mean, Mac and Kenshi are probably one of the biggest names here that we've seen here so far. Mac being probably one of the oldest members here, and not just because of age, but he's been the most experienced out of everyone here. He's been here since 2020, where he was absorbed by Bren, and now he's going into VVV. And out of the lineup of VVV in the past few years, he's the only one that has stayed. And that guidance can definitely bring this team into greatness. And for Kenshi, you already know he was at the Eastern Champs. He definitely delivered probably one of the best moments and the highlights in that particular matchup. And not just that, Yaku, everyone is so good at what they're doing, and this seems to be like a super team in the making here, AJ.
I will have to agree with you, right? Big Daddy Mac knows exactly what sort of a setup to bring into those S&D matches. But, the curious side of me is wondering exactly why Mac does not play some of these respawns. He leaves it to players like Yaku and Chroma to step up and absolutely dominate. And Yaku most definitely dominates some of these respawns. One of the best players that we have seen at Hardpoint as well as Control. But let's take a look at the breakdown of players on the side of C8 United with their captain Poi and players Cookie, Joshua, Ron, G, as well as Ange. Each and every single player, they've got individual capabilities to really, bring the fight out there. But overall, Cookie has not really been able to show his best version in the competition so far. I mean, when you look at his performance in Control, I can't sugarcoat this, but it has most definitely been abysmal. And the team has been able to lean on the other 3 players on the side of C8 United, right? And we're talking about Ron, Joshua, as well as Edge, where Ron usually shines at Hardpoint. Joshua steps it up for the team at all of those S&Ds, and Ange is going to be your main player at Control. And the one thing that I guess sets C8 United apart is they've got each and every single one of these individual puzzle pieces out there to combine to make a great team, but where one shines, the other seems dulled out. And I feel like that is the greatest challenge of C8 United here, Callie. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they just have to fit that puzzle. And I will highly agree with you, You have all these talented individuals and you add them into the team, but they just really lack that team chemistry. But, chemistry usually takes time to develop. But for C8 United, they have already made it to Garena Masters. This is going to be their third appearance. All they just have to do is work on it, and of course, just take things to that next level. But here is your head-to-head here, AJ. It's going to be Kenshi and Joshua.
And Joshua, you know, we talked about how he is really great at hardpoint matches. And not only is he great at going in there and slaying, but he is also great at just absolutely dominating that hardpoint, objectives, right? 10 minutes and 23 seconds overall at the hard point makes this guy an absolute crazy player when it comes to these objectives. But you're taking this head-to-head up against Kenshi, a guy who is pretty much well-versed in each and every single one of these game modes, but his best mode is always going to be SND as the main sniper of VVV. He's not too shabby when it comes to hardpoint as well. 28.8 average kills he manages to hit, but an overall 1.0 KD actually makes hardpoint the worst performing map for the side of Kenshi. So the head-to-head here might be a little bit off because you see Joshua and he mainly is a respawn objective player, right? But let's take a look at the map modes here as Lady Luck shines and smiles at VVV Esports, giving them the initial picks. Summit and Hacienda banned off, and the players of VVV Esports lead us into Raid Hardpoint. And this is quite the surprise because okay, all right, I guess it's not a surprise because the only win that VVV has had so far on hardpoint has been in Hacienda. So I mean, I guess they're trying to play something different here, Beef.
But I mean, they chose Raid. That is their weakest. I mean, yeah, they lost all of their hard points, but I would have expected them to choose a different map here just to get a little bit of advantage. But they chose Raid, where they have, I think, a really bad ratio when it comes to wins. Yeah, 3 losses. The only win they have was in control up against this team right here. So maybe that's why they're a little bit more confident in having Raid. But that was in control. But still similar in when it comes to the dynamics. But again, really interesting map choice. I feel like they just really want to practice at this point. They want to try to, polish all of the mistakes that they committed here.
I have to agree with that point, mainly because when we see their losses at Raid, those were pretty close matches, right? Against CKG Legacy, they reached 222 points, but they still lost. Against Blacklist International Ultimate, it was 237 points. They still lost. And CKG Legacy beat them twice at Raid, which is quite the, how do I put this? Kick in the butt? I want to say a different word, but I think it's a little too PG for the show. But VVV Esports has by far struggled at hardpoint. What do you think their chances are going to be here against C8 United, who has also won against them at hardpoint here, Gally?
Well, for me, obviously, with VVV Esports banning Summit, which is absolutely one of the best maps of C8 United in hardpoint, that's a very smart take for them. But we could have seen a take-up map here. This map pick right here for VVV at that Raid hardpoint is going to be a no-brainer for me, honestly, AJ.
Yeah, and I do agree with you, right? They should have just let us into takeoff, mainly because that's exactly where Blacklist International Ultimate was able to punish C8 United. But of course, speculations aside, let's see exactly what VVV has in store for us. Beef, as well as Gally, take it away.
Alright, C8 Legacy already going in there very quickly. Also having that top laundry control, but unfortunately for them, Yako and Aishi already having 1 apiece. No, let's make that 2 for Yako. And that's going to be a very hard thing to deal with because that guy has been absolutely great when it comes to the respawns, and especially with the addition of Chroma as well. But we get to see it. That's a really big opening pick coming in from C8 United, though. Really good retaliation so far. And yes, even though they've lost in the early gunfights, they're still doing a really good job at maintaining this hardpoint.
Yeah, perfect holding right now for C8 on this hard point, 11-17, despite them not having that power position, Beef Mammy. It's absolutely them just winning all of these gunfights, but VVV Esports is taking their time to actually try and push. Now, the push comes in. They're going to flood with 2 numbers. Yaku right alongside Aski. They're going to make their way inside a point and get that contest, and they will contest and get that scrap time. But the damage has been done, and great plays exactly from C8 to get that hard point number 1, and they're also set up perfectly here at this next hill with Ainge just anchoring the back spawns to give this team that great adjustment here at this P2.
And now P2 seems to be like a point of contention for most of these teams because even though the early rotate already coming in from side of VVV, they lost all the gunfights, and now for C8 United, taking advantage of that reason being that they are having a difficult time when it comes to the gunfights here, surprisingly. And there's a reason why that VVV Esports is not really that fond of this map, right? But again, they need to face their demons, and facing their demons they are, but 16 and 50 already into the side of C8 United. They're having a really big advantage here, but just as I said that, VVV Esports takes in the break. And not only that, we have one person already into position into the next hard point with 25 seconds left here on the clock. It looks like they're having a really solid hold here in P2.
Yeah, I couldn't agree less, Beef Mammy. You know, face your demons. What kills you makes you stronger. And VVV Esports up to the task to get this one. Early on rotation is Yaku, but he's gonna get beat off the spot with C8 crowded with 3 numbers on that gym. But Aski gonna make his way around the gym section as well, with C8 having the reinforcements coming in from that bedroom. Number 5 and Owen could cut that off, but is going to get picked eventually. And of course, 49 to 50 moving on to New, and still a 50-50 battle here, but now we are starting to see a well-grounded C8 squad on that point. VVV, one-dimension attack, and this is going to be quite deadly. Run picks them up apart one at a time, and this guy, 4 spree, looking it to make it 5, but he's gonna get taken down. But C8, they have already made the damages. They will look to score more points here, Beef Mammy.
Ooh, Kenshi with a really big kill with the Peacekeeper, so that's a really good sign. Not only that, Yaku with assist when it comes to the Annihilator. Let's see if he can get a lot more kills here. Finally gets one more, but then gets traded out by Joshua. And so, yes, the approach was a little bit late. The break was kind of late, but they didn't stop grinding and try to go in for the break. But fortunately for them, C8 United already going in for the rotation here in basketball. And yes, they do get essential points here, so it's going to be pretty evened up on the points. But once we know already with VVV, they're really good at breaking the hard point. And so even though the C8 clan, they do have a very early rotation, it's not really able to support it for very long.
All right, here comes the Pred, slowing it down just to find the perfect view. Huge 2 kills there from Kenshi. And again, the hard point opens up with C8, but still do take into consideration that VVV is really great at breaking those spawns. They attack with multiple angles, and they really know when to time it perfectly. Yakuo takes the Tiki spawn, so that's going to be more of a plus for the side of VVV as they slowly and surely try to take this away from C8. Kenshi popping up with 2 as well. And of course, the combined effort is slowly taking in effect, but C8, they invest their own 2 operator skills, and that should be enough to hold their ground and maintain their position. VVV now will try to attack on the staircase, and you clearly see the damage that's being run down on this basketball court, and it's going to be VVV that will break it 87 to 100. The game is back and forth, the game is close, but C8 still managing to pull up front.
Big kills from Toy, though. He's been doing such an amazing job already with 18 kills. Not only that, the Annihilator in his bag as well. And you get to see the contest coming in from VVV, though, but still getting all of these kills. Really big kills coming in from Toy. Just really trying to delay the push coming in from VVV, but Aski as well going in for big kills. And now, again, a back-and-forth situation from both of these teams, and so far so good, with C8 United just winning by just a little bit, but obviously it's still very winnable and doable for VVV to try and pick up the points, especially with Annihilator in hand. Aski can definitely go and stop the push here coming in from C8 United if he can do so. Ooh, couldn't.
Oh my god, CH just broke it. You know, the boys of BBB,
Proved me wrong, dang it.
103 to 118 is going to be the score of the game here, Beef. I mean, there's still a lot of things to talk about, but take a look at the way VVV will try to get that hit. Moving in from that mid stairs and getting that kitchen control, and that's where they will plan to take that hit. The flank has opened up a lot of opportunities for them to break that point. They do it briefly, but C8's reinforcements just too fast. They move in quickly and they are able to get that final 15 seconds. But the hold is strong, but VVV definitely fighting. As you can see, 10 seconds left. Scrap time is going to be collected by C8, but you see adjustments made by VVV. They made amendments by moving in for that early rotation. Number 1 in Aski is going to have that good view, power position, longer control, and we're moving on to that statues, and they should have the opportunity to take this and run away against C8.
And, you know, the points are just getting a little bit too far for comfort for VVV because they've had really good gunfights here so far. They're able to contest it, but not for too long. They need to go and step in the hard win, really just to stop CA United in its tracks. Say, it's just going to be really hard here, even though they do spill in really, really quickly. It's just they don't have a power position to try and go and play with when it comes to the defense. So what you need to see from VVV, probably just get top laundry, as easy as that.
And there you go. They removed the player in the top laundry. They removed it, cleaned this point. So that should be more than enough as Aski will try to run them down, cut off that rotation, and get those spawn kills. For now, C8 will be able to break. 18 seconds left, and Josh is going to be the front man, but he gets eliminated. VVV Esports holding that final scrap time, and not only that, they're trying to change this for that P2 rotation as well. You got number 2 and 4, Chroma and Owen, early on rotation getting that fast response, but C8, they are already making their way as well. This time, they will be taking that hit through the basketball court, away from that swimming pool, and that should be able to give them some chance to get that break. And of course, for C8 Ron, gonna reinforce coming up from that laundries, and they do manage to remove the players from VVV. And now they get bullied out, and they will certainly get this point. But, you know, it's a pretty back and forth here.
Yeah, the back and forth that we really get to deserve. And just like that, VVV Esports was able to get the points down. And now we get to see another reset coming into Kitchen, where we saw CA United go in for the early rotation, but just VVV just able to retake it very easily. But Guy having that Annihilator just absolutely stops the push coming in from VVV. But again, we already know that they're really good at the retake. And for now, VVV should probably go and set their efforts into having that money hill that we really like to see. Because a while ago, CA United just had a lot more points there. But I feel like for VVV, they probably should have contested just a little bit more, probably put a little bit more effort into trying to stop the points into the favor of C8 United, but it looks like they really want to have that full 60 here in Garage.
Yeah, and they have to stand their own ground in this game. 3 players in that side of Garage. Kenshi cutting off the rotation through mid, and of course the Tribeway sees spots for his player, picks him and wins that gunfight, looking to swing around the gym. And VVV Esports, great stand so far in this game. They defended that driveway and of course that mid perfectly, but they now do have to worry about that bedroom spawns and of course the gym, wherein they absolutely petrified the boys of C8. They cleaned them down perfectly. Good hold inside this point, and they're definitely looking to decrease that lead. Aski jumping off that Hunter Killer Dawn. We'll find one as actually, and you know, for C8, they break with the use of that operator.
That was a really good break coming from C8 United, and what you thought that it would be difficult to go in for the break here in this particular money hill, it doesn't seem to be the case. But one person though, Yaku, tries to go and make the biggest difference, gets 1 kill, needs to go and make another, and is definitely going to be a little bit of a nuisance for him, but he is still alive and kicking. Chroma though, 2 VVV players trying to go in for 1 C8 United player, finally goes down, but does enough to go in there for the contest and just disallowing VVV Esports to have a lot more points here. And they did a lot of damage in that particular hard point, you know? I mean, that was supposed to be VVV's comeback, but then unfortunately the contest was on. It was really good, really just preventing VVV to get more of the points. But then finally the rotate finally comes through as Kenshi and Aishki tries to go in there for a lot of the kills, but for C8, they just respond so well with these kills.
Yeah, and the trade kills are definitely in there. This team is sticking like a glue, and for VVV, they try to push one way from that staircase and they get the break eventually. Multi-angle push, Owen coming from that swimming pool. But then again, they need to stand their ground. C8 will do whatever it takes for them to get that break once again. Here we go. Owen is going to stand himself on. Going to be that only player inside that point, but we do see number 3 Nyaku making his way to kind of reinforce and fortify that defense inside that hard point. 193 to 211, and we did kind of expect that VVV Esports will hold their ground in that garage, but this time around, they make amends. Great time in this basketball court, and now they will be able to make this lead single digit, Biv Mami.
Yeah, I mean, Chroma, though, with a really big kill, just definitely annihilating the competition coming in from P5. And not only that, with the assist of the Predator missile coming in from Yaku, definitely cleaning out all of the players here coming in from the side of C8. But the thing is, for C8 United, it doesn't really matter because there was no backup coming in from the side of VVV whatsoever. So even though, yes, Chroma had really big kills, and yes, even though there was a Pred missile, no one else from VVV was there to go and take advantage of that situation. And now, finally, we get to have 2 players from VVV finally pull through, but it's just dwindling down just a little bit. And now finally the points are finally going to be evened out just a little bit, but you get to see it. Cluster Strike and X1 Goliath already in the arsenal of VVV Esports.
All right, that's going to be very useful in the succeeding rounds that we have, especially in that P1 where it's exceptionally pretty open. But we are on the final stages of the game. Anything and every hard point is going to be very much needed. 234 for VVV Esports and 231 for C8. That's going to be the scoreline as we move in to new. That scrap time is going to be used and of course collected by C8, but this next one is going to matter the most here, Beef Mammy. And we have VVV Owen holding that X1 Goliath. That could be the winning condition for VVV Esports to finally get the win on this hardpoint raid.
Beautiful timing when it comes to the X1 Goliath, but they need to put down a trophy system just to save it just a little bit. Joshua is still alive, but Guy with a really big nade, and I just said that you need to have a trophy system. It's basically partners in crime. You can't have an X1 Goliath without a trophy system because that just happens like that. C8 United with a very convincing win here against VVV Esports, and there's a reason why they're weak in this map, and it shows. And even though, yes, the Goliath could have made a big difference, it doesn't really matter here because they weren't able to pair it up and sustain it really well. My goodness, Callie. What a great showing from both of these teams, and C8 is just really impressive to me, especially from Toy and Guy.
Toy and G, just really a pretty impressive performance there. And of course, that late game was pretty important. And you did see VVV Esports, the use of all of their strength, the use of all of whatever's available just for them to win this game. But it wasn't enough. C8 just pummeled them down at the end. That X1 Goliath got destroyed and C8 pulled up with that win. It's pretty back and forth as you can see, but I know AJ has something to say at this game. Hardpoint raid, AJ. What's your thoughts on this game?
I wish I had something to say, man. I really wish I had something to say, right? You know, Jericho always says, hard search and destroys. They win you championships. But you cannot only bet on your S&D games if you are competing at a level like this. And this might just be the biggest problem for the VVV brand when they move on to the playoffs later on. Unless they are playing us all for suckers right now and faking their ability at hardpoint, because it is just impossible to think how a team as great as VVV would consistently drop their matches at hardpoint. We are talking about 6 rounds of hardpoint, multiple times at raid. Not a single time have they won at raid hardpoint. This was their 4th match at raid hardpoint. And on top of everything else, they chose this map. They wanted to prove a point. I wonder what that point is, Beef.
The point is, they don't want to show everyone their strategy. I mean, out of everyone here, especially when it comes to hardpoint, this is a big question mark. It's like either the other team is gonna, take advantage of the fact that, okay, VVV Esports is not really good at hardpoint, so we're just gonna, not do our best because they're weak at this. But I'm hoping that this is just a strategy that they picked, that raid hardpoint, and just turn things around at the very end when it comes to the playoffs.
And that might just be exactly what the players of VVV are applauding here, right? Because they have consistently shown up at raid hardpoint, and that just leaves all of the other maps in question. Yes, they did take a loss at Summit, but once again, that was super close. And VVV, they've shown us all the time, each and every single one of those losses, that they were able to exceed the 200-point mark. They haven't been dominated at hardpoint so far, but they have consistently lost hardpoint. And I feel like if this was a mind game, VVV, they really know what they're doing, right? But if this is not a mind game, VVV needs to figure out exactly how they can sort out some of those rotations. That X1 Goliath was brought forth, but if you ask me, it was brought forth at the wrong spot, at the wrong time. Could have been played a little bit earlier, but, that's spilled milk right now at this point. I want to wonder exactly what they can do when they move on to the playoffs. Because if we see struggling side of VVV at hardpoint and at control over the playoffs, there's no hope for them getting into the top 4, getting into the grand finals with just the supremacy at S&D. On that point, I think they're going to whack the players of C8 this time around. Callie, Beef, take it away.
And here we go. We've seen it already before. VVV Esports brought down BLACKLIST International here in S&D standoff. Let's see if it's going to be the same case here for the boys of C8 United. What can they do, especially with the guidance cookie into the sniper? Having a really big opening kill would be really tremendous for him. A big boost of confidence. But let's see how the tides will turn here for this man.
Yeah, Cookie is this main sniper for C8, and he's in charge and responsible for getting these early picks and dealing the damage in that long-range engagements to open things up for the remaining players of C8. But we see the first blood. Yaku now swings and gets that kill against Toy. That's going to be a huge gunfight. But for now, still, we are definitely seeing VVV Esports stay still, and they will have no adjustments. And Ron is going to pick up these huge 2 kills from the back, opening up the enemy lines. And of course, all down to Cookie, but he gets taken down by Mac, and you can clearly see the overextension made by VVV. We are on opposite side, but the bomb has been dropped, and Ron needs to deal with 2 players, Yaku and Mac.
Well, they tried to go in for that pick, tries to go in for one stray player, but now they're sticking together, so that's a really good part. And for Ron, though, having that 3, that is really impressive because he has a chance to get that ace. And we're only in round number 1, so that's going to be crazy points. And now Mac needs to be careful just a little bit. Gets spotted, and Ron gets that 4K. Let's see if he can get that beautiful ace that he really deserves. With 21 seconds left on the clock, it's very doable, and Yaku is going to be really far away, so the plant is going to go down. And Yaku needs to take a breath just a little bit. He does have time to go and circulate all the way back into back alley. But with Ron having that hunter-killer drone in use, that is not going to be in his favor. All he needs to do is go follow it. And he already knows that this one player is going to be right there. And Yaku tries to win for the kill. And there you go, Ron, with a beautiful ace to start things off. An explosive way to do that. C8 United with that first big win.
Yeah, the situational. Ron was just too prepared. Ace! I think that's the first ace that we have in this competition and in this 10 days of group stage. And Ron picking up on that kill definitely will give this team a huge boost, Beef Mammy. And so far as we continue, look at this play from VVV. They stack their numbers at this A-bomb site, but you see G at the back for C8. Cookie landing the ball, landing the kill up front, and of course, the damage has been done. This is a pinch play coming through for C8. This is going to be magnificent for them.
I know, and this is like really great stuff coming from C8 United. But then there you go, Mac gets that kill, but then the trade comes through and Mac and Kenshi go down, and now the second round going in for... I don't know, man. This is looking kind of suspicious for me. I mean, VVV is don't do what I think you're doing, but you know what? They have every right to do so. But hey, C8 United, there's no doubt that they could have, pulled this off really well, and now they're doing a really good job here. A 3-2 split, as 2 people are going to be here in boxes and 3 going to be in grannies. As a heavy defense coming in from the side of VVV Esports here in back alley.
And yeah, earlier round, they did had heavily defense on that A side, but here this time, gonna worry about that back alley. Mac takes G, Toy takes Mac. We got that first blood evenly exchanged. The first 30 seconds, we're gonna have a 4v4. And C8, they're not looking to put that bomb at A. Looking to get that push here at this B bomb site. But hey, take a look at this. VVV Esports is just kind of hanging around, waiting for them to create that extension. And ASQ with that wall bang drops Ron, and that should be enough. Pressure is on for C8. Where are they going to put that bomb? 2v3.
2v3 situation here. And obviously the man advantage coming from the side of VVV. Tries to go with it for the wall bang. Doesn't really quite get anything. And now Cookie tries to have that information. Again, wall bangs all over the place. You just have to check, that's one of the beautiful things here in CODM. But then there you go, Joshua gets 1, Owen goes down, bringing it even here on the playing field. And now for him, KSP is going to be definitely a really good gun. We've already seen it a while ago, and it's just really hard that C8 United has been struggling the whole time here in this competition in SND, but now it looks like they finally found their footing. And now Aski goes down as well, bringing it down to a 2v1 situation here, Callie.
Oof, it's going to be a tough job, but hey, it's Big Shot Kenshi with that Holger. Cookie on the left side, he swings it, he could wing it, but yeah. Oh, that slide there, that could have been heard, but hey, Kenshi spots the first dropping Cookie, swing, spots Joshua on that bomb site, almost landed that kill, but hey, he's going to reposition, gets a good view, get that narrow, going in for that wall bang, not gonna get anybody, is going to use that bomb defusal. That could be heard. Kenshi wins that 1v2! Big Shot Kenshi gets the defuse as well, and that's it. VVV Esports, after suffering a huge 2 blows in that 2 rounds, Beef Mammy, they get this 3rd round, and I love that they were able to clutch it up with that big play from Kenshi.
Yeah, that was a really big fake defusal that we like to see. And I know the saying is pros don't fake. Hey, there's some times that you have to, because everyone already assumes that pros don't fake. And that's why you have to fake sometimes. And now you get to see it. Kenshi already showed us that, you know what, you need to do a little bit of trickery here in order to win that round. And now, let's see it. again, a really solid, really solid, defense here coming in from the side of VVV, where they're kind of scared, see it United, to go and push into back alley because they already know that Mac is going to be there with the Holger going in there for the solid defense. Not just that, Owen as well with the DLQ. And now they're slowing things down just a little bit here, trying to get that information. So that's a really good sign here so far.
Yeah, huge adjustments made there by VVV Esports. In that first 2 rounds, they were flanked again and again. And now that they have the opportunity to counter, that's going to cancel out the flank that's being made by C8. But for now, Sniper is going to be very huge here. You see Cookie spotting that guy on the window. Hello, he gets Owen. The bomb is going to get planted. And yeah, this is going to be a top task for VVV. They play a 3v5, make that a 2v5 with Toy taking down A-Ski. The bomb gets planted 38 seconds. Too many angles to take here, Beef Mammy.
Yeah, the angles definitely are ready for the side of, C8 United. Not just that, the wall bang is definitely in order as well. And now Ron finally puts the bullet, the final bullet that will end VVV here in this particular round, and finally going up to 3-1. And now you're kind of thinking here is that VVV, again, are they hiding their strats? Because at this point, they don't have to play. They don't have to play to win. And now they are trying their best to play it as fair as they can, but at the same time not give away too much. But I feel like they're still trying, yes, definitely, because it's definitely a respectful match that we have here. As C8 United, like we said, this is going to be a show match. But again, it's all about trying different strategies that they can play here, and C8 United is right there, happy to be at the receiving end of this experiment.
You can clearly see that CA has been doing a great job getting this first bloods, and that's been the way to go for these squads. But for the first 4 rounds, you see C8 Run going at it back and forth, time and time again, getting those flanks. And VVV Esports just letting him do that. You can't afford to let that happen again and again and again. Over time, that's going to take a toll on the game. But Kenshi spots the guy at the window. Beautiful timing. But he now going to have to worry about 2 players. Ron gets that kill. C8's been so good with the gunfights and the engagements, and VVV Esports, we're not seeing any adjustments at all. Constant defense at that back alley, and that's been giving them a lot of hard time here, Beef Mammy.
This is going to be a really fast S&D. We already know that C8 United is most likely going to be winning this matchup. I'm definitely sure of that. And now for VVV Esports, they need to find a way to, polish off the mistakes that they've made, especially into the respawns. S&D, though, they have been absolutely perfect. So they don't want to give anything away, especially heading into the playoffs, knowing very well that every situation matters because people will watch this broadcast later on and try.
Ooh, it appears that we currently have VVV Esports is having the rundown on the skills. They had the opportunity to put the players at the back with Owen opening up, and of course A-Ski getting those opening kills at that gas station. But you have the final player, Joshua's going to clutch 1 player down. Needs to worry about these 2 more players, Beef Mammy. You can clearly see that he's got the eyes on that tank. He's got the bomb as well, so he can dictate where that bomb will go. Could potentially plant that bomb at B and play with that KSP where it's going to be very useful in those close range engagements, but really can't afford going up against Mac and Kenshi, who's going to have that close range, also having that sniper, that long range engagement. So for now, I'm going to be taking over Beef Mammy. Going to be playing out in a while, but hey, 42 seconds left, and C8 Joshua gonna have 5 kills for now, looking to make that 6 and 7 as he looks to get his kills from these 2 players. 30 seconds left. The game is ticking and dwindling down. Kenshi spots that information, gets that kill, pops Joshua off, and there it is. 2-4. VVV Esports takes that round. Right, we're moving on. Clearly and dearly. And finally, Owen gets a kill after suffering a very, very butt underperforming game in the first 5 rounds. Gets it to go here. And yeah, moving it all along. Gonna switch the sides here. C8 going in for that defense. VVV attacking the game. They will be going in for those wall banks. Kenshi gets the first blood, gets the follow-up as well. They have opened up that A site. They're ready to get that plant. Cookie and G. It'll be a very tough task for them to clutch this game out, but anything is possible in this game. Oh yeah, definitely G gets that kill. Cookie follows up, dropping A-Ski. We get a 3v2 situation, but she's going to get flanked. They need to worry about Owen on that barrels. And Cookie gets that landing blow. Looking to clutch 1 more player, but Mac is just too good. He gets it done. And there it is. It's gonna be your boys from C8 losing that round, and VVV slowly and surely getting it on. And yeah,
And you got Big
here
Daddy
we go.
Mac there, bro. You expect
Moving it
them
all
to
along.
just step it
AJ,
up.
man, how's it going?
13 kills so far. Ron, he has got an opportunity to take over and shut down the players of VVV. Let's see exactly what the setup is this time around as Twice shuts down Kenshi. That's a good start, but Owen and Aski, they turn things around. The players of C8 United still have an opportunity in here. 3v4, nothing that they cannot take on. But with Cookie, unfortunately, G and Toy get shut down. Aski brings out his boxing glove of thunder and shuts both of them down back to back. Cookie doesn't stand a chance as VVV Esports makes their way back into the matchup here. 4-4, Cali.
Yeah, from a moment where we thought VVV Esports is going to continue to get run down by C8, it's where the opportunity for them to just suddenly pop off in an instant ties the game. Close range engagements, now they're starting to win it. And you can expect your boy Kenshi to deliver more of those landing blows in that long-range engagements with the help of Yaku, who's been constantly great with the way he's been taking all of these gunfights. But for now, he's still got 3 kills, looking to turn it around though. But AJ, here we go. The bomb is going to get planted.
Oh, open plant coming through from Aski. Got made by Cookie. Let's see if he can shut that down. But Yaku, close range combat with the sniper. Bust a hole through G. It's going to be Yaku. Ron shuts him down. KSP supremacy as Joshua finds Aski as well. Joshua has another to find. It's Kenshi right behind the fountain, and he will shut him down as well. The KSP 45 on fire, and so is C8 United. 5-4 now. And VVV, they are absolutely stunned at a game mode that they have dominated so many other teams, at a game mode that they have not allowed even a single team to reach 5 points against them. Here is C8 United doing the impossible, Cali.
Yeah, doing the impossible. It's going to be the Joshua factor for me on that last round. Very efficient with the way he wills that KSP. Gets the swing on the tanks and absolutely killed the guy on that head glitch. No worries for him. That accuracy is just insane. And you expect him to deliver again and again and again. But the bomb is down once again. Another fast take for VVV. But God did from Joshua. That's it. We got a number advantage for C8. We got a 5v4, AJ.
Goodbye, Big Daddy Mac. That sticky hit right on his head. Aski shuts down Cookie. The numbers all traded up already. Blind shots, and Joshua uses that information against him. Yaku takes him out. Ron trades out Yaku. This is just back and forth between C8 and VVV. Who wants it more? As G now goes in for the open plant. Kenshi shuts down Ron, but it is all over as C8 United managed to push themselves over the top. 6-4. This is unprecedented times. Nobody has been able to do this to VVV at the group stage so far.
And you do note that VVV Esports, this is the map where they took down the former Kings Blacklist International Ultimate. For them to be outplayed here by C8, it's just totally surprising. But hey, anything is possible in this game. After all, it's a momentum-based match. And hey, we're going to see VVV. Keep in mind, Kenshi's got 9 kills with Troy getting dropped. We're going to see some push made by C8. Cuts off the cross. Joshua's been so reliable with all them kills. But look at Ron. 16 kills in the game. Lighting up the show. But with Yaku getting taken care of, we get a 2v2 once again. Big Daddy Mac. That's a player to watch out for VVV.
Ron. And the surprising thing here is the KSP 45 with the time to kill on this gun. The perfect weapon to take on even snipers out there on the battlefield. Yaku and Kenshi had nothing on the players of C8, but unfortunately, Jay gets caught out in the open. Owen shuts him down with a headshot. It's all up to Ron now. Backstab. The timing is going to be perfect here, but he goes in for the prone. Haven't spotted out a single person, and Owen trades him out 5-6. VVV might be able to make a comeback, but let us not forget, C8 United on that match point. They just need to rage on the players of VVV just one more time. Ron needs to step it up once again.
Yeah, maybe for C8, they could cut across, go for that gas station's attack, and of course, just wait for the opportunity for them to get all of them kills. But now they're going to play for that retake once again, giving that free plant for the boys of VVV. But Owen, he spots the players at the back here, AJ, and he knows that there's going to be players there currently active. Bomb down once again. Moment of truth. Can C8 end the Zir? Boy getting that first pick.
Oh, Yaku just almost getting lucky there, but twice shuts down Aski instead. The numbers not in the favor of VVV, but they've got the plan, and Owen just sees Toy running straight at him, takes him out of the equation. Numbers all equaled again. Yaku from the back with the reposition, misses a wide open shot as Kenshi shuts Ron out of the equation. Just 2v3 now for the players of C8 United. They have to wrap things up before VVV catches up, because when they do, it's going to be a GG. Final player in the name of G. Owen circles around the tank. G should be able to catch him out, pulls out the boxing gloves, but Owen just too smart, hops on top of the tank, and the Peacekeeper shuts him down, and we push it into overtime. This is round 13, and C8 United more than ever needs G to step up.
Yeah, right now he currently has 2 kills in this 13 of rounds of gameplay. He needs to get kills here. He needs to get involved in this gunfight, because this is going to be the round where it all ends. Whoever wins this round, they take the map, and now engagement's coming through. Yaku extends too much. Finally, G gets that kill, and we got this 4v2. C8 on the brink of losing the game.
And Ron, he ties things up here. He pulls back one number, but can Big Daddy Max secure the kill through by shutting down G? G repositions. He backs away. The bomb on the ground. C8 United, they are locked in a position where they cannot aggress against VVV. And a long rotation coming through from the one and only Ron. 19 kills in hand so far. Going for the 20th. He might be able to shut down Aski just around the wall. Ron just needs to spot his corners. And Kenshi will be spotted out first. And that's the bait that was needed for VVV. Ron taken out, and VVV out of nowhere make a solid comeback. But C8 United, they pushed the boundaries, and they took the fight up to VVV in the most astounding fashion here, Callie.
Oh yeah, exactly. Pushing the game to that overtime. VVV Esports, they got clutch in their veins, but they clearly had a very rough time with the way C8 played this match. You saw how Ron always cut up the rotation from the flank. Joshua with those incredible multi-kills and getting a lot of clutch situationals. They really had a rough time going against C8, especially on the earlier rounds. But when they started to pick up the adjustments, or when they started to pick up the strategy of C8, is where they are absolutely able to fiend the most. They know that C8 loves to play mid, going in for those retakes. So what did? They allocated Kenshi on that bakery second floor. They added Yaku to guard that tanks. So when the bomb is down, that's where they were able to pick up most of the kills, and C8 just clearly didn't read through the plays of VVV when they adjusted.
And for me, most of those comeback plays were through the snipes of Kenshi, right? And he just kept the players of C8 United guessing time and time again. It was either the second floor of bakery or at the bakery backyard. Those jump shots were phenomenal as Kenshi just kept bagging player after player on the side of C8. And you saw Aski continuously moving out, overextending, getting those skills on his side. Yaku stepping up for the team as well. And the surprising thing here is Yaku wasn't even the top fragger, but the kind of kills that he was getting, it was changing the momentum of the game overall. And although C8 United had an initial lead in, although Ron with the beautiful ace at the start of that matchup, although his performance was spectacular, was not enough to compensate for the lack of showing from the side of G. And this is one of the most disappointing things for the side of C8 United, I'm very sure, for the day, because the whole team was playing this SND perfectly. The whole team was about to annihilate the best SND team within the group stage if only G had been able to step up his gameplay, man. 3 kills in 13 rounds, unfortunately, Callie, is unacceptable.
Yeah, not really a very efficient play for him. Couldn't really help the team at all. And obviously, it really will hurt the odds of C8 United winning. They could have had it, AJ. 7-6. You have to force that overtime. All they just need is G to step up one more round and eventually for them to take the round. But unfortunately, that we didn't see. Kenshi was just too good cutting off rotation. Yaku played a huge job, and of course, holding down lanes and sending information for VVV Esports to use against C8 United. And that's been the rounds. Multiple adjustment made by both ends, but VVV Esports, they got the eyes in their veins to end this game through a comeback. Now, we're moving in to a slumps control. And this is going to be a map pick by VVV Esports. And you know what? VVV Esports, they do really love playing this unique maps. Now, we did see them play Hacienda Hardpoint against Blacklist International Ultimate. Now, they want to spice things even more. Slums Control AJ against C8.
Yeah, unfortunately for VVV, they haven't really shown up well at Control overall, and Slums Control especially, where they took that loss against Blacklist International Ultimate 1-3. But what makes this a little bit better for the VVV brand is the fact that C8 United absolutely bombs out at Control. They haven't been able to win a single Control match so far, which is why it was absolutely imperative that they shut down the players of VVV at SND at the very least, right? It was great showing from C8 United at Hardpoint, but unfortunately they don't get to hit that mythical 3-0 on Veni Vidi Vici, which would have been quite the spectacle to wrap up our group stage. But as we head on into match number 3 here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, between the two teams, let's see exactly who can get that victory. Let us know exactly whose side are you on, C8 United or Veni Vidi Vici. At the very opener, it's 29-29, one being traded out on each side, and that's just the way this is gonna go as both teams now butt heads at that B flag.
And you know, close range engagements are going to matter here the most. And guess what? It's going to be run with that KSP. It's going to be your boy Chroma with that KSP. That will look to cut that rotation up for VVV Esports. But for now, mid control held by your boys from VVV, and that will eventually take a toll against C8 as they look to get this B control point in their favor. G will decide to get the defense on lockdown, caught up that tick away from BVV, and that's it. Great opportunity for them. They get his 3 kills. G will still stand and of course will remove that segment created by your truly VVV.
Yeah, fantastic play coming through from C8 United so far on the defense. VVV hasn't really been able to pull away the B flag just yet. And my question is, when are they going to circle around and focus on that A flag, which is absolutely unprotected? And as we see Aski make his way there, he is being hunted down. Shots coming through from player number 5. He goes in for the engagement. It's going to be Ron. Ron gets shut down by Aski, and Aski making great headway of trying to rip away that A flag. But this should be a fake. Aski should be that one guy who overextends and keeps the players of C8 United distracted, whereas VVV secures that B flag instead. They've got the numbers here, but just no strategy on Control at the moment here, Callie.
But now the adjustments are made. You know, looks like they heard you. They're now pushing at the A side, but no one will stand their ground as they lose their gunfights. Divide and conquer for VVV Esports. These did send out 2 players towards A, but they focus more on getting this B control point in their favor than they worry about the next hardpoint or the next control that they're going to take. But hey, life counts are dwindling down. C8 is winning the life battle. They only need to worry about 2 more kills, and this should be a round win. Joshua could have ended it there, but still, we see VVV fighting, but unfortunately for them, it was Ainge from C8 that caught the player off at the cross towards mid. At that statue is where he gets that kill, and that was just a kill. First round in favor for United. This time around, VVV Esports is going to be on the defensive round, and they should have it easier for them because they're going to have a lot of advantages moving into this second round.
Yeah, and talk about instant redemption for G, right? He performs the worst at that SND and he pops off at Control. That's exactly what C8 United desperately needs if they want to take this victory over VVV. C8 United has not won a single Control matchup, but if they can get it done against Veni Vidi Vici, everybody will fall in love once again with the C8 brand. And C8 United fighting for a lot here, although on a 5 life deficit. Aski taking the fight up against them. KSP, 45 Divinity, but not a single player on the side of C8 United is circling around just yet. And I love the safe plays coming through from the players of C8. They're just stacking all of their players at Broken, but as they hop on in, they fail at their gunfights. They just have to take this a little bit slower. G brings out the Annihilator, but Omen annihilates him. That's a big kill, Callie.
A very big kill right there. And of course, that cancels out the operator invested there by G. But anyway, we're going to see some more action. G continues to step up for the team, leading with 10 kills, 15-18 on the live count, and we are seeing C8 capture this B flag. They are going to freeze that time for the moment as they look to get that B segment in their favor. But Aski cuts the cross, spots these 2 players inside. This here would be huge as they currently have the mid-map control, but they dwindle down their numbers. They won't play for that trades. They lose their gunfights, and now C8 is coming back. They now have tied the live count. The live battles are going to be useful, and C8 Ron is giving this team that front lead.
We need big brain plays right now, and C8 United needs to invest that cluster strike. G just needs to bring it out, because on the defense, you can hold on to that A flag, but on the offense, it's really difficult to pull it away. But with the cluster strike in hand, G can just be the difference maker. Will he go in to invest it, or will he waste this opportunity? I don't want them to wait until round number 5. They need to shut this down right here, right now. Joshua, great slide challenge, gets the player taken out of the equation, but G now steps on in, but he is outnumbered. The investment of that cluster strike is desperately needed right now. With 8 more lives left, that cluster can be the perfect spawn trap. Just put it in front of Fountain, and it's a GGWP. But C8 United just not going for it yet, Callie.
And they're trying to play it cautiously, but you know, in game, you have to take some risk. And now they are definitely not trying to use that cluster strike, but they make up for it with Toy's incredible gunfights. Currently 4 on the spree. Now, this is it. 4 live counts for VVV. They could initially use that cluster strike just to remove the players on that fountains, but they're not doing that. They're looking to play in Ego Chow with the gunfights, and VVV Esports is slowly winning their gunfights. Big plays from Yaku cost the 2 players from the garage, and that's it. They got the number lead. 16 seconds for them to play this game. Not so sure there, AJ.
Yeah, I hate this setup coming through from C8 United. Now, obviously, they don't have the numbers. If he pulls out the cluster strike, I'll quit shoutcasting for Call of Duty Mobile. They don't, and they lose this round. Unfortunate for the side of C8. VVV Esports were given a lifeline by G as he decided to not pull out that cluster strike. If they are punished for that decision here, Callie, I am going to be extremely disappointed. But the plus point is they still have got a score streak to kind of dominate. On the defense, I hope and pray they do not pull out that cluster strike, because it's just absolutely not needed, my friend. Yaku opens things up, shuts down G, traded out by Ron. Solid plays coming through so far from the players of C8 United as they hop on into that B flag. They might just be able to pull this away from the hands of C8 United, who are a little too slow on the defense, Callie.
Yeah, G finds the opening though, now making their way towards this flag. Gets
GG.
that 3 kills, now building his second set of score streak. This is going to be very beneficial for C8 as they look to cut down that lead that VVV Esports had. Well, eventually, they now have an equal live count here as they look to battle it off here at this B control point. Toy holding his crown as well. Still though, this game could still be in the hands of VVV. They have that mid-map control, and number 2 in Chroma could get that open flank just to cut up a little bit more players on that rotation. And now you are starting to see it. C8 dwindling down. Chroma is now winning his gunfights, but a little bit of a back and forth here. B segment could be in the hands of VVV, and we might have to be pushed to play for that A control point. Here we go. 2 live count advantage for C8.
2 operators on for the investment capability here for the side of VVV. Chroma and Yaku can bring it into the play as they go and attack a very, very difficult flag to pull away. That A flag, you have to invest your operators. You have to invest some of your score streaks here if you want to stand a chance, because when the players on the defensive side spawn out of the fountains, that's exactly where things get so much more difficult. Yaku and the Annihilator, but he doesn't even need it. He just toes G alongside Oven. He is going to be the one player who puts on quite the big challenge, and Ange taken out of the equation as well. That hit mark doesn't really punish him. Gets stunned halfway through. 8 more lives on the side of VVV. They still haven't invested in any one of their operators just yet, and Ace Key activates his, but as they waste so much of time, look at C8 United, Callie. They've activated their own operators as well. This next round is going to be so much more difficult for VVV. What's up with the decision making between these two?
The game just happened so fast, you barely have time to actually think about what moves are you gonna do, but it's really important that you plan out ahead. That we don't see right now from these 2 teams, but eventually, VVV Esports, down to their final 5 live count, still, they do have the chance to get their spawn kills coming through against C8. As you can see, Yaku's got that 20k already, 37 seconds left, cutting off the cross, spots Toy, gets that kill. Very, very huge here, AJ, we got a 4v3.
Oh, fantastic. And as the players of VVV try to rip away this flag, 2 of their players are just holding to the outside perimeter of that A flag, but obviously they run out of lives. And C8 United now, that one saved up cluster strike alongside 3 operator skills can be the difference maker. Will they this time around execute a solid play? Will they this time around rip away that A flag with the assistance of the cluster? If they do not, they might just get punished by the side of VVV. They do have the operators to respond for as well. Kenshi going in for those majority of engagements, but those wall bangs do not serve him well. G and Toy shut down Yaku alongside Chroma, and G continues to rake up all of his kills. The redemption arc for this guy, you don't need another series. You just need control matchup. And from underperforming, he's the best performing player on the side of CA United, and that's the kind of fire you need in you, Kali.
And that's what you pay him to do right now. He's giving this team a huge slot of support in that kill department. Currently leads the lobby in kills. 24 is currently where he's at right now. And he needs some support here from Ron, but he gets taken immediately. So now this B, now captured by C8. We're going to extend that time. 2 minutes and 7 seconds is the time to beat C8. Slowly on rotation. They will take that hit through that bottom of the map, coming into that garbage cans. But, you know, Yaku is hiding around the corners. Could be very useful for him to get his skills just to make sure that the life count dwindled down for Safe United. But the 8, they flood the point, which means they are going to be able to play for that trades. 21 to 18. That life count very, very close.
And they also have a lot of time on the clock. Here comes all of the investments. And yes, VVV can pull out their own. Joshua pulls out the Annihilator, manages to swing around, shut down one player. The second one gets taken down as well. Owen and Kenshi had nothing on him, but at the fountains with the head glitch, he will meet Ace-Key alongside Owen. Owen with a Peacekeeper from that sort of a range. Yeah, he just makes himself one of those lethal players out there on the battlefield. Cluster Strike finally brought out just to close off one of those angles. But what a blunder by CA United. They have got not many players to take advantage, but thank God Ron and Toy win out their gunfight, because that was just way too close for comfort. 15 to 7. It'll make that 15 to 5. VVV gonna get toasted, but Joshua with a God Age shuts down Yaku. 4 more lives on the side of VVV. CA United on the verge of beating Very Vici as they rip away that final flag as well. Ace-Key trying his very best to sustain, but 2 more lives left here for VVV, and it looks like it's gonna be game over already, Kali.
Ooh, C8 played that cluster strike perfectly. Eventually, all they need is one angle for them to create the push inside, and Ron was that route man. He gets the first kill, opening up that garage, then he follows it up with the second right through the cars, and that's it. C8 United, they get this done. And obviously, you see the impact that G had on this game. He plays well. The team has a lot of margins and a lot of advantage compared to VVV on this control slums. Great performance right there. They end the series 2-1. And you see the MVP, AJ. It's going to be CG, the guy we criticized the most in that search and destroy. Making amendments. 28 kills with the 17 deaths, and that's totaling 4. That 1.65 KD. More than enough for them to get this win.
And that is how you redeem yourself after a miserable showing. G most definitely did that. But what impresses me the most is Ange just took a shower, came out with his towel, and still managed to beat VVV Esports in his bed. That's the most impressive setup of the day. C8 Ange, I've got my eyes on you, boy. But G, once again, Cali, 28 to 17 after really not showing up at all. 3 kills out of 13 rounds in that SND. This guy was hitting like a soft tissue paper. But after getting down, he is like a wet towel. Have you ever been hit by a wet towel, Kelly, before? It hurts, man. G hurt the players of VVV.
And you can clearly feel the impact with that wet towel, wet tissue on your face or any sort of body that it gets hit at. I mean, it really hurts, man. And yeah, when you try to throw that wet tissue on the wall, it currently sticks. And that's what G did to VVV. He stick through the minds of VVV Esports. He played with their heads. It messed up the rhythm. It messed up the pace. This guy just outplayed VVV Esports with the mind games. And do note, he's winning the gunfights, AJ. But what he did absolutely great was building up that score streak. That cluster strike at the end gave them the opportunity to close things out against VVV Esports. And that was the key play right there, G. With that MVP, and of course, moving on along, we get this maps and modes. And C8 United, surprisingly, will win 2 out of the 3 maps in here, taking Raid Hardpoint and of course Slums Control. AJ, talking about VVV Esports, the last time they played, they took down BLACKLIST International Ultimate, but here this time they're looking so dry.
Oh, yeah. And no surprise here, right? Because they do struggle at control overall. And C8 United were the ones who were more hungry. C8 United does not make it through to the playoffs. But as what we always say, it doesn't matter if you make it through. You have to make a stand. You have to make a name for yourself. You must make sure we remember you, even if you do not make it through to the playoffs. Will we remember C8 United? Absolutely, we will. Fantastic place. But, one small disagreement with you, the statement earlier that you made, man. I hated the play of that cluster strike out of G. I thought it was very soft. With the timing that it was pulled out, if at all Toy was not there to secure the perimeter, if Ron wasn't there, that would have been a GGWP. BVV would have hopped right back into that hard point. They should have had the numbers stacked first before pulling out that cluster strike. But so that was, one of the softest plays, if you ask me. And it could have been wrapped up a little bit faster, right? But the saving grace here is C8 United is not just built around one player. This was the point we brought up before this match started. C8 United is built up of teamwork, even though some of their players are weak in some of those modes, even though some of the players do not show up sometimes in the way we would like them to. C8 United always has that solid teamwork, which helps them sustain through the series. And in this way, they almost 3-0'd Veni Vedi Vici themselves. If it wasn't for the superior skills of Big Daddy Mac, if it wasn't for the crazy angles that Yaku and Kenshi were hitting time and time again from that bakery, from the hotel's second floor as well, C8 United might have been able to surprise them there as well, right? G didn't show up. If he had shown up, bye-bye VVV. They would have just eaten yet another donut of the day.
Oh yeah, no, of course, for VVV Esports, saying that stand of S&D truly removed the odds of us getting that sweep in today's matches. But hey, for C8 United, though, they won't be able to make it to the playoffs. They have promises, as you say. They win through team play, and they just got to touch up and refine their strategies even more. Now, there is a lot of situations that they could have handled a lot better, especially with what you mentioned, where C8 United could have ended this Storm's control in just 3 rounds, if only if G could have landed that cluster strike on that round number 2, where they only need to take care of 2 players. But yeah, eventually C8 United, they still got a lot of promises, but this will be it. End of the line for them. But they exit the group stage with their heads held high, defeating VVV Esports in this series. And now, with that being said, actually for me, VVV Esports might have to work on this raid hardpoint eventually, AJ. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of data that says this team has a really rough time playing raid. So teams eventually that will face them on that playoffs could eventually use this against them. So it's going to be very hard, but they need to find a way to adjust.
Unless VVV is pulling off the greatest fake in the world, man. I mean, this is the perfect setup, right? The perfect way to sucker in your opponents. Make them think that, okay, we're going to get them. We're going to nail them when it comes to raid. Sorry, I just knocked the mic off of my table. But, and that's exactly when VVV Esports can surprise their opponents. But of course, that might be a little bit too far-fetched. That might be a little bit, too hopeful for the side of the Veni Vedi Vici brand. So let's see exactly what they can bring forth at the playoffs, because we know this team is absolutely dominant when it comes through at those S&D matches. But even at S&D today, we saw signs of weakness, which was extremely surprising, Callie.
Yeah, slow start eventually was the problem for this team on that search and destroy standoff against C8 Legacy. And we did clearly see that they were continuously getting outflanked, especially in the first 2 rounds where Ron had a fiend on the mistakes that VVV had. The situationals eventually also is needed to be refined as well, AJ, because Ron was able to get 5 kills in this first round. And, you got 5 players only needing to kill 1, and the odds are all stacked in your favor. But for some odd reason, they weren't really able to put it through. And on the second half, eventually, AJ, that's where they get it ongoing. They relied on the plays of Kenshi, getting those first bloods. getting those initiations open up for the team, and that's eventually where they were able to gather up the momentum and still the victory.
I mean, you have to be a damn annoying player to hit back-to-back jump shots the way Kenshi does, right? I mean, the guy is just an absolute crazy S&D player, one of the best snipers in the competition, and he punished the players of C8 United with those plays. And if it wasn't for Kenshi, if it wasn't for those off angles that Yaku was holding on to, it might have been a little bit more difficult. But at the end of the day, they still managed to secure it. But hats off to C8 United for ripping away the victory from a team as great as Veni Vidi Vici. Ron secures the Soldier of the Game title with a 1.13 KD average. And this is, a great performance from Ron, because remember, we were touching on this a little bit before we hopped on into the series, that on the side of C8 United, the only player with an overall positive KD was Joshua. And Ron now joins him with that as well. So he used the players of VVV as a stepping stone to end the run of this group stage on a positive note for himself, which is quite admirable, Gallic.
Oh, yeah. Eventually, and for this guy right here, Ron is always there to get the opener, and of course initiating the flank earlier. Eventually he's got 20 kills on that search and destroy. But here are your qualified teams on the playoffs, AJ. And that voice that you had earlier, it's prime and ready to go down at Manila Ballroom Marriott Hotel. We got Almighty, WPM Lowkings, Huntsman, Smart Omega, RTL Esports, Blacklist Ultimate, and VVV Esports. And all those C8 United who won't be able to advance on that playoffs, AJ, they have their brother C8 Legacy getting the advancement.
Absolutely, man. And like we talked about as well, C8 Legacy will be able to carry the torch for the C8 brand all the way through. Let's see if they can make it to the top 4 instead. And VVV Esports, we saw a lot of weak plays from their side. And overall, not so impressive run for the VVV brand, but we could just see a team playing the best game of possum of all, right? To fake out some of their opponents, to catch them off guard by not showing up at all at their hardpoint matchup, especially at Raid, because that has been a consistent pick. And with them specifically picking Raid hardpoint, it just strengthens that suspicion that they might just be faking this. They might just be playing this in a way where they force their opponents to think that hardpoint is going to be an easy picking. But once again, this is exactly how the group stages ends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The top 8 making it through to the playoffs. And we have to apologize. Unfortunately, Beef Mommy got disconnected due to, the situation in the Philippines. It's been raining nonstop and the internet around her area hasn't been all that too great. So I hopped in, but thankfully we will be able to see her perform at her very best at the Resorts World Manila. No doubt, Callie.
No doubt indeed, AJ. And I can't wait for the next stage to open up, because it's going to be a LAN event. And there's going to be live crowds. You're going to see the players in action, head to head, on the Manila Ballroom Resorts World Manila. And AJ, can't wait to see you there, man.
Likewise, brother. I can't wait to see you, Callie, and I can't wait to see each and every single one of you who's a part of the God community. You've been with us throughout these years, and we are absolutely thrilled to have this opportunity to not just meet you guys, but to bring that fire as we all gather in one location. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is AJ. I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Cali Gaming, and on behalf of Beef Mommy as well, we wrap up the group stage of the Call of Duty Mobile Garena Masters Season 3. We'll see you at the playoffs.